Good morning. It's 8:27. Our lead story on the news this morning had to do with the Eugene Mission down on First. Two-alarm fire early this morning, and it forced, at least for a while, the evacuation of over 200 people from the facilities there. About 37 firefighters showed up for that and were able to get it quickly under control. My understanding is the fire pretty much was contained to the kitchen area. But to talk a little bit more about that this morning from the Eugene Springfield Fire Department, Lance Leidy joins us on the Wake Up Call. Lance, thanks for being with us. I imagine this has been a very long night for you.
Yes, hey, good morning. Yeah, I started about 2 o'clock this morning when the alarm came in for the Eugene Mission on West First.
Okay, first things first, I mean, at this point, what do we know about the cause of that particular blaze? Anything?
Yeah, the fire marshals are still on scene doing the investigation. We know that where it started, kind of the origin point. We're not ready to declare what the cause was, but they have a pretty good idea of what did it. They used to do some follow up with the staff and ask a few more questions. Okay.
See, when you say stuff like that, it makes you go, "Oh, so did somebody start the fire?"
No, it doesn't appear to be, it doesn't appear to be kind of arson or, act on someone. It looks like it's probably accidental. Again, they'll determine that shortly and get that information out to everybody.
Give us an idea, because the damage that, at least the information that we received this morning preliminarily, was about $300,000 in damages. And that it was mostly confined to the kitchen area. How large is that kitchen? I mean, it's got to be fairly sizable. I mean, if they're dealing with 212 some odd people that live there, you got to be able to crank out quite a bit of food.
Yeah, actually, it's the kitchen area and the dining area was actually damaged in the fire. Pretty much destroyed the whole kitchen area, the wash area. Smoke and heat damage throughout the whole dining area. Melting tables. The sheetrock was able to hold the fire, contain it to that. But pretty much everything that's in there needs to be replaced, and some of it needs to be restructured.
Well, one of the things that surprised me, I mean, considering, okay, we've taken out a kitchen and the better part of a dining room, and, you're talking about melting tables, I'm thinking that produces a lot of smoke. How is it that smoke damage or the smoke from that fire didn't really keep people from going back into the building? I mean, is there, how were you able to get it kind of, contained to that area?
Yeah, well, what was fortunate was it was just contained to the kitchen and the dining room area, and having the fire doors closed and really contained the fire, and it kept the heat from going into the dorms up the stairs. We did have smoke throughout the whole building, including the dorm area where about a majority of the 200 people were sleeping at the time.
Yeah, 4 injuries. My understanding, minor. Was that mostly smoke inhalation kind of things?
Yeah,
or?
Smoke inhalation and just people exiting. Very minor injuries. We ended up taking 2 people to the hospital for evaluation, but again, very minor.
Okay. Have you heard at this point, and I realize this is, I mean, your job is more dealing with the fire and aftermath, but I'm wondering, has anyone said to you at this point what the plans are for the Eugene Mission? I mean, it's going to be breakfast time here shortly.
Yeah, we actually met with the staff, Eugene Police Department, and initially was trying to corral 200 people that were exiting the building when we got there. Eugene Police Department cahoots did a great job keeping people contained away from the fire scene, if you will. We met with the mission staff and came up with a plan if we were not able to house them in the dorms because of the smoke damage. We were able to clear the smoke and get good air monitor readings up there and felt comfortable with putting them back in the dorms. Their plan for food is they have enough food, dry storage. We were able to keep the freezers and the refrigerators working, and so they will be serving breakfast is what they told us this morning. They're not sure what form, and it'll probably be later than their normal 7 o'clock meal. They're also going to look for assistance from Red Cross for the next few days to help, prep the food and get the food out. Because you're right, there's a large number of people, and a very important part of our community is to feed those occupants that were there.
Lance, in the press release that you let out, it was stressed the importance and what the fire alerts, fire alarms played in this whole event, and that it could have been a lot more serious. If you could talk about that and kind of maybe stress the importance of people checking their fire alerts.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the fire alarm going off obviously alerted the occupants inside. They have a very good emergency plan that they've practiced. They had clear exits and clear exit strategies for everybody. That staff getting blankets and keeping them warm, and then again working with them to get them back in. And again, thanks to the Eugene Police Department cahoots for really taking care of a lot of the crowd control and dealing with the people that were not injured. You know, the 200 people that were out in the streets and letting us do our job of putting the fire out and getting the smoke removed.
All right. Lance Leidy with the Eugene Springfield Fire Department. Lance, thanks for being with us on the Wake Up Call this morning. Thanks for kind of spelling it out for us.
Thank you.
All right. You take care. It is 6:35, News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Hey, the red, white, and blue sale going on right now. Special holiday week offers, and we're talking about a great night's rest. As you sit there, we talked about test lays. You don't even have to go anywhere to do a test lay. As you lay in your bed, you can do a test lay to figure out, is the comfort level to my liking, to my standards? I say demand more, because if it's been more than 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10, 15, keep going, 20 years plus, you might just go see what could be a possibility at a sleep train near you. We're talking about the red, white, and blue sale going on with $300 in bonus cash when you purchase a hybrid mattress set. Talking about some great deals and some great savings, and that same-day delivery and the 100-day guarantee as far as comfort and price. So they're taking all the risk out of it. Almost 3 months. If for some reason you find a deficiency, not to your liking, Sleep Train is going to do what they do to make it right.
So head on in. Sleep Train, they're all over the place, and they're waiting with open arms and complimentary mints for you. It's Sleep Train in Albany, Corvallis, Eugene, and Springfield. Tell them that the Mint Lovin' Wake Up Call sent you, please.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, call 1-800-709-6637. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU online degrees, call 1-800-709-6637. That's 1-800-709-6637.
If you currently use a CPAP system, I've got an important question for you. Are you sure you're keeping your CPAP system clean enough? Like, really sure? A dirty CPAP system is a perfect breeding ground for germs. Put that mask on, and they've got a direct line to your body. Talk about a fast way to get sick. Fortunately, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs in minutes. To introduce it to the world, they want you to try it risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-422-1474. SoClean eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. Supplies are limited, so don't wait. Call 1-800-422-1474. 1-800-422-1474.
Oh no, this can't be happening.
Sorry, it's happening. You took that curve way too fast.
Who are you?
I'm Regret. It's nice to meet you. Sorry it's under these circumstances.
Where are you?
In your head. And everywhere, really.
Why is everything in slow motion?
I'm not sure. A trick of the mind? You're not gonna make it out of this one unscathed. I'm really sorry.
I'll go back and slow down. Can I do that?
I wish you could, but you were going so fast you had no reaction time. This isn't going to end well, Mark. The windshield is shattered. This might hurt.
Oh no, please don't leave me.
I won't. I'll be with you for a long time.
Your car may be built for speed, but the human body is not. It's simple. The faster you go, the harder you crash, and the greater the injury. So stick with the speed limit and avoid regret. Slow down. It's the way to go. A message from ODOT.
Do you dance badly or hug in public? That's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to put up with you. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a low around 48. Northwest wind 5 to 8 miles per hour, becoming calm in the evening. Chance of precipitation is 50%. I'm Sarah Madison with your NBC 16 weather report.
What do I got to do?
Entertain your brain this morning.
Got to broaden your mind a little bit.
With the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
6:39, News Radio 1120 KPNW. Some sunshine in the forecast. Decent day. Boy, we got had some rain yesterday up in Corvallis. By the way, if you live in the Corvallis, Philomath, anywhere in that proximity, let me just put a plug in for if you're, even if you're not like a huge baseball fan and you just like to go out and do stuff, how about a plug for the Corvallis Knights, the Wood Bat League there at Goss. They do a great show.
They have a good product, no doubt about it.
You been to a game?
Oh, yeah. Well, see, back in the day when the Knights, which are owned, by the way, by Phil Knight's wife.
Penny, right?
Yeah, Penny. When they first came to the area, I helped work out a deal where the radio station I was working for, or one of them actually that I was running, a sports talk station, that we worked out a deal that we could air their broadcasts or air their games. And so, yeah, one season I went to about the majority of the games.
Pretty fun.
It's a lot of fun. Well, and the idea is, and the reason it's called a wood bat league, is because if you've not gone to a college game, they're not using wood bats.
Tink.
Ting.
Instead of the crack of a bat.
Right. And this is to take those the really good college baseball players and give them a chance, because it is different, to give them a chance to use the wood bats and play together. And what they do is, and I think this is a cool thing, just because you play on a college baseball team doesn't mean you're going to get invited to play in a wood bat league. So, like the Knights, for instance, are made up of, say, the best players from Oregon State. You got a couple of the really good ones from Oregon State, a couple of really good ones from the U of O and Washington State, and all these. So you get kind of like, if you will, college all-stars playing, which is, it's very cool. All right, changing the subject rapidly this morning. You probably have heard by now that about 245 pages of opposition research on Donald Trump has been hacked out of Democratic computers. And I was actually able to take a little bit of a look at some of the stuff last night. It's all there online. To talk about it this morning, Sean Tuma, he's an attorney. He specializes in cybersecurity and data protection, and he joins us on the Wake Up Call. Good morning, Sean. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. So this is the same guy, if I read this correctly, and I remember the name correctly, this is the same guy that supposedly hacked into Hillary Clinton's private servers and looked at her emails, correct?
Well, not quite. That guy is actually in a jail cell over in Virginia right now. This is someone using the same name, the Guccifer name, but calling themselves Guccifer 2.0, and says to be continuing the work of the original Guccifer.
Okay. So, obviously, everyone is irritated by this, but how is it? I mean, this person is saying, I'm Guccifer 2.0, whereas others are saying it's the actual Russian government that hacked this. So, first things first, which is it? An individual, or was it the Russian government, or in reality, do we even know?
Well, we really don't know, but the likely answer is it's probably the Russian government using this as a little bit of a disinformation campaign to stick a finger, or a stick in the eye of the Americans and the DNC, but also try to throw us off of their trail a little bit.
Okay, so how exactly is this a stick in the eye to the DNC when much of the information in there regarding Donald Trump is not exactly what you would call real positive stuff?
Well, it's one thing to be hacked by the Russian government, which has the very best hackers in the world. I mean, they're like our hackers. They're incredibly skilled with amazing tools. It's another to be hacked by some guy sitting at a laptop in Romania. So if the DNC was hacked by some guy sitting at a laptop in Romania, that doesn't look nearly as good. But the other thing is obviously the DNC was compiling this information for a reason. They want to use it against Trump at an opportune moment that's planned and timed out. Whereas now, if this truly is their information, then the October surprise, so to speak, is now gone. They're going to have to find something else, because Trump will have an opportunity to counter it on his timetable.
The interesting thing here is people were bringing up yesterday about if this puts Trump at risk of being blackmailed. It's like, how can you blackmail somebody when they know, when all the information is already out there? A little bit late on the blackmail end of things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think this, on initial appearances, people think this hurts Trump. I think it may help him because the guy's not afraid to take on controversy and make statements about stuff and good and bad. And so he'll get up and probably address it head on and turn it to his advantage of saying, look how poor their security is, can't even keep stuff against me safe, that kind of thing. So. Interesting.
Well, one of the things that, as I was watching the shrieking heads yesterday talking about this, that they were saying that, this is Russia, trying to understand American policies and the strengths and weaknesses of, potentially Donald Trump. And I look at that and go, they have the KGB. They probably have even better information than the DNC has.
I would think so. But then again, in the world of espionage, you can never have too much information. And when you have a group that has compiled so much against a candidate who was never running for public office before, there's always a chance there could be something new in there. But on the other hand, it could be an opportunity by them to try and influence or tie this to the Hillary emails or who knows what they're thinking. But in the world of espionage, you can never have too much good information.
Apparently, the networks also of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were targeted by the hackers. Do we know at this point whether, how far they may have breached those particular systems?
No, that information, as far as I've seen, has not become public yet. And so we don't know what they got.
What does it say? And by the way, I'm turning 13 today. What does it say about, as a general premise, what does it say about our ability to, lock down important files, cybersecurity, etc.? Admittedly, this is a nation state that is doing the hacking here, but was there anything to indicate that, the DNC really wasn't all that hard to break through their firewall?
Yeah. Whenever, the original story that I saw on this indicated that this group initially gained access through a spear phishing email campaign, which is very common, and that's something that you and I will see in our daily lives. We get these kind of emails as well, and it's a common hacker technique, and it brings down a lot of businesses. And so this wasn't incredibly sophisticated from what we've seen, and it appears that it didn't get discovered until the DNC came in and made a concerted effort to examine the security of their systems, which, if you're going to fault them, you would say, look, whenever you're at high-level politics, whether you're the DNC, the RNC, or whomever else, you need to anticipate that these kind of nation states will be coming after you.
Okay, so spear phishing is, if I recall correctly, it's when you get an email from somebody that you actually think you know. Isn't that the way that spear phishing works?
Yes, either that you think you know, or that's an innocuous kind of email that doesn't have bad intentions behind it.
Okay, well, what's the difference between spear phishing and just plain old phishing? And by the way, phishing in that case is spelled Phishing. What's the difference between just phishing and spear phishing?
When you have the spear phishing like this is a targeted attack. With phishing emails, hacker groups will just send out blast emails to everybody they can find an email address for. In a case like this was a focused, targeted attack on one specific group, the DNC. And so it's more direct and planned to try to reach one target for one purpose.
And so what do? Do they click on a link, or do they open an attachment?
It can be either one. They'll use different techniques, sometimes multiple techniques, depending on which works and which doesn't.
Okay, so, are there other than, can you click on this link or opening an attachment? Are there other things that maybe, folks don't know about or aren't as common as those two particular techniques?
Sure. One of the things they'll do is they'll set up a login page for a known site that's visited by the group, by members of the group, that looks in all ways to be identical to a login site, such as to the DNC's website portal. But they will have it to where whenever people enter in their credentials to log in, it's intercepting those credentials and taking them for themselves, and then they'll use those credentials to go back in and log in and gain access to the site.
Mm. Do we know if that was the way that this occurred?
One of the earlier stories mentioned that both that and spear phishing were ways that were used by the two different Russian groups to gain access for different purposes.
All right. Sean, we appreciate you joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Take care. Sean Tuma, he specializes in cybersecurity and data protection, and is attorney as well. Joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. So I can see, the one thing I can see is you get taken because you're at this website that looks like one that you've used all the time and you log into it. Imagine what it would be like. You get on your computer and you think you're logging into your Gmail account. It looks like your Gmail account. Everything about it would indicate that it was your Gmail account. And I can understand, that being a way that you'd get knocked over. But generally, I don't know about anybody else, but generally when you get those, phishing emails, and even the ones that are, where somebody has hacked somebody's account, and you get those occasionally from somebody that's a friend of yours, but to me, you look at it and go, well, this is obvious that their email has been hacked. You can look just by the subject matter, or just by what's potentially in the email, or that there's nothing in the email and it's just a link. It's generally so obvious that you look at it and go, how could anybody be so dumb as to fall for that? And particularly if you're doing something with the DNC, which you would think would have a little bit higher level of computer security than your average mom and pop sitting at home in front of their their PC or their laptop. I mean, you would think that somebody at the DNC that's high level enough that they have the passwords where they can get through the back door and go in there where all the good stuff is hidden, you would think that person would be at least a little bit savvy, would have just a modicum of common sense to know, this just doesn't meet the smell test. Why would Bob be sending me to this link that has a Russian? Why is that? Oh, what the hell? I'll click on it anyway. It'll be easy. It won't be bad. Nothing wrong there. I don't know. It amazes me, and it happens here, and I think it happens at most businesses. You get that person, and they will receive an email that is so apparently, obviously not on the up and up, and they'll click the link or they'll open the attachment. And then they wonder, I don't understand. Why does my computer work? It would be fun sometime to talk to an IT that works at, like a major corporation, at the stuff they have to deal with from people clicking on links and opening attachments. I mean, I bet even you never hear about it, but I'm sure that in government offices it's rampant. It would be fun sometime to sit with. So, what kind of viruses and stuff have you gotten in the last week from people clicking on links? Well, we got one that, took down our entire server. Oh, that was pretty bad. Anyway, it's 6:54, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
The best real estate market in a decade. Less homes for sale, coupled with low interest rates, get you the top dollar for your house in today's market.
So if you have to sell so that you can buy and you don't want to be without a place, you need to call Eric and Jeanette Harpole with Keller Williams Realty. Really, they're expert negotiators. They specialize in working with their clients that need to sell so they can buy their next home. And if you want to sell within your time frame and get the most money possible, these are the folks.
Obviously, you know that not all agents are the same. In fact, Eric, Jeanette, and their team outsell all other agents in Lane County. The reason? Better marketing, top-notch negotiating, their exclusive enhanced listing program, and unlike other agents, they offer flexible commissions. Hey, if you're not happy, fire them. You are in control.
You can get free information about selling your house this spring or summer. Give them a call, 541-286-3030. That's 541-286-3030. Or just go to harpolehomes.com in Lane or Douglas County.
Here's your chance to check out Eugene's finest food trucks, chow down on some of the most mouth-watering food in town, and support the Eugene mission all at the same time. Selco Community Credit Union presents the first annual Eugene Food Truck Fest on Saturday, June 18th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Valley River Center parking lot. Foodies, families, and fun seekers, bring your appetites and choose your favorite from dozens of Eugene's most innovative food trucks. While the DJ spins, your kids can jump and bounce in the kids zone. Free admission, June 18th, Valley River Center parking lot.
The Wake Up Call is live on air and online from the Widmer Brothers studio, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9. Click on the Wake Up Call banner on KPNW.com and see and hear up-to-the-minute news as well as interviews and more. The Wake Up Call goes down easy, just like a Widmer ale.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Coos Bay got FERC'd. FERC is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and it recently effectively killed a huge liquid natural gas export terminal that was to be located at Jordan Cove, failing to approve a connector pipeline to bring gas from a hub near Klamath Falls to the plant near Coos Bay. Without a pipeline to supply gas, the Jordan Cove terminal would be useless, so FERC didn't even bother to rule on the plant itself. The project would have been one of the biggest in Oregon history, bringing thousands of construction jobs for a few years and ultimately resulting in about 150 permanent positions in Coos Bay. Most of those would have been specialized jobs filled by newcomers, but they would have been a long-term boost to the economy nonetheless, as would the doubling of Coos County's assessed valuation and thus the property tax that could be collected. Here's the nugget. However, that was only one possible outcome. or sample path, as a statistician says. But it's not necessarily what would have happened, or even what was most likely. Jordan Cove started out not as an export terminal, but as one that would import liquid natural gas. 12 years later, the project is dead. But notwithstanding the disappointment in Coos Bay, it could have easily been worse. How and why? Soon. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Minutes into the trading day, stocks are trading lower. The Dow is down 110 points, nearly 2/3% at 17,529. S&P 500 is down 12 points at 2058, and the Nasdaq down 33 points at 4801. This after worldwide stocks have traded lower today. Bank of England policymakers are intensifying their warnings about the risks of the UK potentially leaving the European Union. They said today the damage of a possible vote for Brexit could extend to global markets and the world economy. The market moves come after Fed Chair Janet Yellen said yesterday the forces holding down interest rates may be long-lasting. The cost of living in the U.S., excluding food and fuel, rose last month. The Labor Department reported this morning that the so-called core measure of the Consumer Price Index rose 0.2% in May, the same as in April. The advance was propelled primarily by rising rents. John Metaxas, Bloomberg Radio.
News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Maybe this can help solve the mystery. One of the black boxes from the Egypt airplane that crashed in the Mediterranean has been recovered. Fox's Jessica Gallagher is live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, the cockpit voice recorder in Egypt Air's doomed flight 804 from Paris bound for Cairo has been found. In a statement, Egypt's investigative committee says a vessel with deep ocean search was able to retrieve the black box in several stages. Investigators say they've been able to recover the memory from the box, which is expected to help them ascertain why the plane crashed off the coast of Alexandria last month, killing all 66 passengers. Dave.
Jessica, the head of the CIA has just called ISIS
a formidable, resilient, and largely cohesive enemy.
Testifying now at the Senate, Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, CIA Director John Brennan says the agency needs more capability to monitor terrorists online.
The digital domain is a new domain. It is the new frontier.
He called on lawmakers to have a serious discussion on the role the government should play in tracking terrorists online and via encrypted devices like iPhones.
We don't want to face the equivalent of a 9/11 in that cyber domain.
Brennan told lawmakers in spite of progress made against ISIS, efforts have not reduced the group's terrorism capability and global reach. Dave.
Rachel, a member of the British Parliament's been attacked. Jo Cox is in critical condition. She was shot and stabbed after meeting with constituents in West Yorkshire. A 52-year-old man's been arrested. The push for gun control here had Democrats filibustering in the Senate until 2 a.m.
What we are seeking is not radical.
Cory Booker advocating expanded background checks and banning sales to anyone on a terror watch list. The NRA does support extra scrutiny for those sales. Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham say going after guns after the Orlando massacre is the wrong approach.
This is an intelligence failure problem. It's an attitude problem. It's Barack Obama turning the war into a crime problem.
The president will leave for Orlando this hour to go meet with families and murdered of the victims in the attack. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Want to see what you'd look like if you had a flatter belly? Now's your chance, because for a limited time, we're giving away free trials of New Biotics, the new discovery that flattens bloated bellies fast. But hurry and call now while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-500-1734. Strict limit of 1 free trial per household. These free trials are reserved for anyone, male or female, who's looking for maximum belly flattening in minimum time. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Want to see what you'd look like with a flatter belly? Now's your chance. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving these trials of New Biotics away for free. 1-800-500-1734. That's 1-800-500-1734. If lines are busy, try again. 1-800-500-1734.
There's a big sell-off this morning as stocks continue a losing streak. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalini's live on Wall Street.
Dave, stocks are down for the sixth day in a row. As you noted, the sell-off continues. The Dow is down 164 points at 17,476. NASDAQ down 47. The S&P 500 down 19. For this week to date, all three of the major averages are down more than 2% each. Energy, financials, materials are the big laggards today. Everyone's running to the safety of treasuries. The 10-year treasury yield now at 1.52%. The laggards on the Dow, Nike, Boeing, Caterpillar are under pressure. Dave.
Thank you, Nicole. The price of oil is down more than $1. It's now back under $47 a barrel. Gas has fallen a little more today. AAA's national average is now just below $2.36 a gallon. Have a Coke and a tax. In Philadelphia, that city poised to charge soda drinkers extra.
City council members in Philadelphia are expected to give final approval to a 1.5-cent tax on sugary and diet beverages, a move that could generate about $90 million in new revenue. Democratic Mayor Jim Kenney is behind the plan to spend most of that money on pre-kindergarten, community schools, and recreation centers. Two previous efforts by the city council to pass that soda tax failed. Berkeley, California is the only other city with this kind of a tax. Other proposals have been defeated in more than 30 cities and states. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
It's a big accomplishment with an even bigger asterisk.
Ichiro to right field and into the corner. Standing around second.
That single makes Ichiro Suzuki the all-time hit king, though Pete Rose objects to that since many of Ichiro's 4,257 hits came in Japan, so they don't count in Major League Baseball's record books. He's still 19 shy of 3,000 hits here in the U.S. Those hits came in the Miami loss to San Diego on FS Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
So how you saw that, you just talk about world hits, international hit leader, not MLB. I think Pete Rose has a point. They were hitting Japan, over 1,000 of them. 7:05 News Radio 1120 KPNW. So here's how the weather breaks down, just in case you're curious about your Thursday. We've got a chance of rain, 50% chance, high of about 68. Isolated thunderstorms tonight. If you got a softball game, you could see a little wet, cloudy, and overnight low down to 48. And then they break it open pretty much sunny and 70 for tomorrow. On Saturday, a slight chance of rain. It's going to be very pleasant for the Truck Fest, first annual to benefit Eugene Mission. And as you're going to hear in the upcoming news report from Bill, they need some love and support. They'll need some help. In addition to what they do daily on a regular basis, had a horrific fire this morning, and we'll talk more about that in news coming up.
Yeah, well, we'll have the latest there, and it was a big fire this morning, doing quite a bit of damage. We'll take a look at that coming up in just a couple of minutes on the news, brought to you by Burrito Amigos. We'll also take a look at the state of, or the Secretary of State's Audits Division, taking a look at Douglas County. Things looking bleak. Also, Democrats in the Senate taking advantage of the Orlando shootings. We'll have the story there and how Ron Wyden took part in that. And drugs. What do you do with them? Well, the state is looking at a couple of different things dealing with drugs. We'll have that coming up as part of the news as well here on News Radio 1120 KPNW, brought to you by Burrito Amigos. News time is 7:07. Somebody coined the phrase, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If that's true, why do people eat such weird stuff for breakfast? Fried dough, rolled in sugar, mystery meat on an English muffin, stale bread dipped in egg and fried? If breakfast is important, treat it that way with a breakfast from Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You get real food real fast, and it's real good. It's no mystery, I'm the bacon guy and love their bacon burritos with 2 types of bacon, I'll remind you. But Burrito Amigos can set you up with link sausage, huevos rancheros, chorizo, meatless burritos, or my new almost favorite, the machaca burrito with black Angus steak, sauteed onions, and green peppers mixed in with potatoes. Delicious. That's a Bill London endorsement, by the way. And mornings were also made for coffee. So stop by the kiosk on 6th in Eugene or 42nd in Springfield and enjoy an espresso along with your meal. Breakfast shouldn't just be important, it should be good. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield.
Tune in to Real Estate Today, weekdays at 5:30 p.m.
I'm Bob Nelson, co-host of Real Estate Today. Kurt Large and Evergreen Roofing is my go-to company if I need to understand a roofing system, how to maintain the roof, should it be replaced, and if it is to be replaced, what should be done. He is absolutely the expert's expert. Evergreen Roofing is my go-to company.
To find out more about Evergreen Roofing, just go to their website, evergreenroofing.com. If you're thinking about a new RV or an RV upgrade, don't make a decision without seeing what the RV Corral can do for you. At the RV Corral, serving you is at the top of their list. It all starts with their newly expanded award-winning service and parts department. Are you looking to sell or consign your RV? The RV Corral will buy your RV for cash or free consignment. High trade-in allowance too. With local owners for 28 years and all local employees, the RV Corral will be there to help you make your RV dreams come true. Easy to find on Highway 99, 1 mile south of Belline. Buy anywhere else, you'll pay too much.
It's the big happenings in the Valley and the state. This is the Wake Up Call on 1120 KPNW with Bill London.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. A fire cleared out the Eugene Mission on West 1st in Eugene this morning. According to the Eugene Springfield Fire Department, that fire quickly went to 2 alarms. When firefighters arrived, smoke was already billowing out of the 2-story building. 212 of Eugene's homeless population were in that facility at the time and evacuated from the dorms, which were located on the 2nd floor.
You know, it's the kitchen area and the dining area was actually damaged in the fire. Pretty much destroyed the whole kitchen area, the wash area. Smoke and heat damage throughout the whole dining area, melting tables.
Lance Leidy with the Eugene Springfield Fire Department says they were able to keep the fire contained to that area. 4 occupants were treated for injuries.
Smoke inhalation and just people exiting, very minor injuries. We ended up taking 2 people to the hospital for evaluation. But again, very minor.
ESFD says that the building did have working fire alarms and emergency plans, which they say likely saved lives. Occupants were allowed to go back in the building after a couple of hours. Leidy says the main problem going forward is going to be food preparation.
They have enough food, dry storage. We were able to keep the freezers and the refrigerators working. And so they will be serving breakfast is what they told us this morning. And they're not sure what form, and it'll probably be later than their normal, 7 o'clock meal. They're also going to look for assistance from Red Cross for the next few days to help, prep the food and get the food out.
Damages estimated at $300,000. The fire remains under investigation, although Leidy says it does not appear that it was purposefully set. The Secretary of State Audits Division released its biennial financial condition review of Oregon counties, and it highlighted 4 counties that are going to need further monitoring based on 10 financial, economic, and demographic indicators. The reports found that the decline in federal forest revenue continues to be a major barrier to the recovery of some counties. It includes Douglas County, which, according to Jessica Hansen with Douglas County Management, is facing a dire situation if new sources of revenue aren't developed, and developed quickly.
We have to balance that budget in some way, and if those reserves are gone and we don't have revenues to support those programs, our government is going to change dramatically.
Solutions are few and far in between as federal dollars have dried up and the reserves soon will. The years of $50 million in federal assistance are gone, and timber receipts alone will only result in about $3.4 million in revenue this year. That means that reserves, when they're finally gone in Douglas County, will mean that major cuts to roads and county government will soon follow.
And so that's what our commissioners are working on, is finding a management plan that will help support these county programs.
Unfortunately, protecting the spotted owl means that some communities themselves will likely go extinct. Yesterday was the last day many Lane County rural residents could set fire to burning piles.
We closed the season for the summer due to high wildfire danger. The season will open up again probably October 1st. We are hoping that the opening will be on time, but sometimes it does get delayed due to ongoing wildfire.
Joe Niehaus with the Lane Regional Air Protection Agency says residents who burn during the closed season are subject to violations or make that fines ranging from $50 to $2,500, in some cases more. During the burning season, backyard burns are typically allowed outside of urban growth areas. Backyard burning is banned year-round, though, in Eugene and most of Springfield. Democrats in the Senate taking advantage of the Orlando shootings for political purposes in an election year, filibustered Wednesday over gun control. Brad Ford reports one Oregon senator took part. Ron Wyden.
Victims of the shooting are owed a response.
Wyden says people on the no-fly list should be prohibited from buying guns. He called for nationwide background checks on internet and gun show sales, and he said the ban on gun violence research needs to be lifted.
There's been a prohibition on doing that. Say that one to yourself. A prohibition on doing research into gun violence?
Wyden says it is time for Congress to take common sense steps to reduce gun violence. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, with the first batch of gradual increases to Oregon's minimum wage launching in 2 weeks, employers and workers got final word from the state Wednesday on how payroll checks are going to be handled from here on out. The rules, released by Oregon's Bureau of Labor and Industries, and I like this, clarifies what businesses should pay employees who work in different parts of the state, which beginning July 1st under this year's new minimum wage law will be divvied up into 3 geographic regions, each with their own unique minimum wage minimums and increases through 2022. So, under the new rules, employees will earn the hourly wage in whichever of the 3 regions they spend more than half their time. For those with more transient schedules, their bosses can either pay the highest rate or break out their minimum earnings by hours worked in their respective regions. Yeah. On July 1st, the current $9.25 statewide minimum goes up 50 cents in Metro Portland. They have the highest minimum. And then in the second region, where smaller cities like Eugene and Salem are situated, and then rural areas, mostly in the eastern part of the state, will see a 25-cent an hour increase. By 2022, Portland's minimum wage will be $14.75. In Eugene, it would be $13.50, and in rural areas, $12.50. A federal judge rejected Ryan Bundy's request to be released from custody so he can argue a case before the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Bundy serves as his own lawyer in a criminal conspiracy case stemming from the armed occupation of an Oregon bird sanctuary. He's also charged in connection with an armed standoff with federal agents at his father's ranch in Nevada. Bundy and lawyers for the other defendants charged in both cases have said it's improper to make them defend 2 cases at once in different states. The appeals court plans to hear oral arguments today in San Francisco. Bundy says he wants to be there, but U.S. District Court Judge Anna Brown denied his request yesterday for transfer or release. The state of Oregon is getting and setting new standards to help control the use of painkillers that contain highly addictive opioids. Brad Ford reports.
Oregon is adopting CDC guidelines plus expanding efforts to control highly addictive opioid-based painkillers. Dr. Katrina Hedberg says they want doctors to control the amount they prescribe.
Not to be giving sort of a large quantity if a person comes in, for example, with a sprained ankle.
They also want patients to know about the dangers of becoming addicted. There are signs that progress is being made with fewer overdoses being reported.
That has started to decline, or at least level off and decline slightly, without seeing an increase in heroin.
The legislature recently approved a measure that allows pharmacists to prescribe naloxone as a rescue drug to be given to someone who has overdosed on opioid painkillers. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
A 63-year-old woman has filed a lawsuit against a Portland glass company saying it caused her terminal lung cancer. Valerie Silva filed the lawsuit in U.S. District Court. Documents say she lives in Washington, but she works at a Fred Meyer store near the Portland Bullseye glass plant, and she accuses the business of negligence in releasing toxic levels of arsenic, cadmium, and other heavy metals into the air. She's suing for punitive damages and attorney fees. Bullseye didn't immediately return a request for comment. The state issued a cease and desist to Bullseye in May after monitoring showed high levels of heavy metals, including lead, in the area. Bullseye has since agreed to toxic metal restrictions and had the order lifted. The company is also facing a class action lawsuit filed by neighbors. Two Oregon City police officers are allowed to return to active duty after a Clackamas County grand jury determined they were justified in a fatal shooting. Officers David Edwins and David Plummer had been on administrative leave following the May 21st death of Travis Anthony Moore. The grand jury's ruling allows them to return to work, but the Oregon City Police Department is still going to conduct an internal review of the shooting. The two officers had gone to Moore's apartment to arrest him on a warrant when they say he started fighting with Plummer. Edmonds reportedly used a taser to stop Moore, but that was unsuccessful. The officers claim Moore grabbed at Plummer's gun before Edmonds shot Moore, who died at the scene. The Oregon Medical Association wants the Oregon Liquor Control Commission to tighten regulation of edible marijuana products. Brad Ford has that story.
Edible marijuana products are very tempting for children.
The edibles are usually packaged and think they're really quite tasty.
Dr. Robert Dannenhofer says the Oregon Medical Association is asking the OLCC to reduce the amount of THC in edible products.
One the size of a brownie could contain multiple adult servings.
They want the limit reduced from 15 milligrams of THC to 5 milligrams. They would also like packaging to be made in a way that is not attractive to children, that it come in single-serving sizes, and that the packaging is child-resistant. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
And a grand jury has indicted a Pendleton woman accused of shooting a man with a stun gun in a dispute over money. 24-year-old Sarah Carr faces charges of menacing, kidnapping, assault, and illegal use of a stun gun. So the victim told Pendleton police in late April that he met Carr because she owed him money. Instead of taking him to the cash, she took him to a field outside the city limits and shot him with a stun gun and left. Pendleton Police Chief Stuart Roberts says a man who drove the pair to the field may not have been aware of the plan. He says another man might have brandished a baseball bat, but police never recovered one. Roberts says it took time to put the pieces together, and that's why there's been no arrest in the tasing until, well, this month. It's 7:20. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
As you heard, top of the hour, 42-year-old Ichiro Suzuki tied Pete Rose for the MLB's all-time hits record in a career with 4,256. An amazing career. But yeah, it should be noted, 2,978 in 16 seasons with the Mariners, Yankees, and Marlins. About 1,200 of the tally hit in Japan. Big question in the NBA Finals. Can the Golden State Warriors close out the series with the Cavaliers in Cleveland tonight, Game 6? They'll be with Draymond Green, but without Andrew Bogut, who's done for the year with a knee issue. Game 7, if needed, would be Sunday in California. And the NBA and the networks would be ecstatic. Portland Trailblazers have started their off-season acquisition and release of personnel with their broadcast crew. Gone are the team referred to as Mike and Mike. Play-by-play announcer Mike Barrett, color analyst Mike Rice have been let go after 11 seasons together on the TV broadcasts. Radio play-by-play Brian Wheeler remains, but his counterpart, Antonio Harvey, will not be returning. No real explanation given by the front office except they were looking to improve the, quote, tone and spark creativity. U.S. Open underway today at Oakmont Country Club in Pennsylvania. Former Oregon golfer Aaron Weiss tees off at 11:31. We say underway, but now play suspended about 18 minutes ago. Currently, the leaderboard has Andrew Landry atop it by himself at 3 under. He's got 3 birdies to go along with 8 pars. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle, where you can get a free nutrition consultation from a certified nutritionist on Franklin across from Market of Choice. News time, 7:22.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Mostly cloudy with a low around 48. Northwest wind 5 to 8 miles per hour, becoming calm in the evening. Chance of precipitation is 50%. I'm Sarah Madison with your NBC 16 weather report.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, brought to you by Builders Electric, providing smart electrical service since 1960. Even with all her quirky things in life, Shirley MacLaine had a very significant thought when she shared this one. Dwelling on the negative simply contributes to its power. Well, most of us know that the folks who are mostly negative all the time pack a lot of power over many others. And we're often afraid to confront them about their negative behaviors or comments because we're used to them coming back with even more negative stuff. Sometimes all we can do is try and maintain our own positive thinking and behavior, knowing that using it around others is also very powerful. So stay focused on the positive. It works. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
Today's Motivational Minute was sponsored by Builders Electric, voted the Register Guard's 2015 Reader's Choice #1 electrical contractor, providing positive service for over 55 years. That's Builders Electric, CCB 4296.
Built for business. In business, time is money. In business, money is also money. No wonder nearly 1,000 businesses choose Comcast Business Internet over DSL from the phone company every single day. Not only is it up to 5 times faster, it's actually a better value when you go with the fastest plan. So take a minute out of your busy schedule and call Comcast Business. It will be well worth your time and your money. Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add voice and TV for just $34.90 a month. And ask about our 2-year price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 8/31/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to 1 voice line and private view TV for new customers. 2-year contract required. Requires Comcast Business Internet and an additional monthly charge. Equipment, taxes, and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Savings claim based on cost per megabits per second. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Is your body getting enough protein every day? Try Max Pro at Max Muscle. These protein shakes are packed with protein, very low carbs, and 0 sugar. Chocolate malt, strawberry banana smoothie, blueberry, and more. Max Muscle. Try it before you buy it. Franklin Boulevard, across the Market of Choice.
Make sure you check out SM Gun Shop before you buy at a big box store. SM Gun Shop takes trades and they have a large selection of quality used firearms with competitive pricing. SM Gun Shop on River Road in Eugene, serving Lane County's gun enthusiasts since 1980.
News, information, 24/7 on News Radio 1120, KPNW, Holloway in London, and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120, KPNW.
725. News Radio 1120, KPNW. 51 degrees, and coming up, we got the Wheel of Taylor. Yeah. July 15th, tickets on sale right now. If you go to MatthewKnightarena.com, you can check them out, or you can win them from the radio station.
Right.
I say win them.
I say
it's
you
free,
win them as well.
Because you might be able to get front row and OES.
Correct. Now, the deal is we have Father's Day coming up this weekend, right? Right. So it's kind of an extra little thing that we're doing here. So you could potentially be the person who wins a pair of front row tickets, and we're talking front and center front row tickets to go see James Taylor.
I thought I heard. Could be something wrong with the headsets. I thought I heard you say front row to James Taylor.
Yeah, front row. Front row and a $100 gift card to OES.
That'd
be a good little Father's Day.
Cannot be. Let's see here. I think they start at $70 tickets. So front row is going to be
$72
with the service charge, right?
Right. So I mean, we're looking at maybe $75.
Okay, just because people take things that we say literal, probably going to be a little bit more than that. We're exaggerating. Okay, so it's not going to be 71, 72, right?
Yeah, right. See, I make the exaggerations and I let just people
let them fly.
Yeah, just deal with it.
And I should do that because you'll be the one who has to take the phone call.
Yeah.
So I never mind.
Right.
Never mind.
Well, I just say let people cope.
Let people cope.
Yes.
And people, how does that go for you? More often than not, in today's society, with the coping mechanisms that people don't have.
See, that's what I think is people need to exercise that muscle more. Exercise the coping muscle.
Okay, I'm gonna record that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna play it back on a continuous basis, as you need to be reminded that you need to exercise that muscle.
The coping muscle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so do we want to give it away now? Do we want to do this now?
Let's do it now since we have the music going on and people are calling.
So just to let you know, and if you would hold it up, we have the Wheel of Winning. And by the way, if you go to KPNW.com, you can see our live video stream, courtesy of the folks at Widmer Brothers. And we have the wheel there, and I have made a slight adjustment to it. So we had
he takes the credit for
a small pie on the wheel there that was the grand prize. All right, and we went through 3 days and no winner. So what I've done is half the wheel, you have a 50-50 chance of winning. Half the wheel is grand prize, half the wheel is just normal James Taylor tickets, which would be good enough for most folks. So 541-485-5769, the number to call. 888-576-9888. What number are we going to take?
Let's do caller number 7.
Oh, okay.
So that's KPNW caller number 1. KPNW, please call back. You're caller number 2. Watch your language. KPNW, yeah, you're caller number 3. Thank you. KPNW, caller number 4. Caller number 5. Caller number 6.
You know what that means? Next one.
All right, everybody make way for the, here comes the Wheel of Taylor. KPNW, hello and good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, who's this?
My number 7 is Johan.
Johan, you are number 7 this morning.
Oh, my lucky day?
Yeah, congratulations. It's your lucky day.
Thank you.
All right, so you have the potential for James Taylor tickets in two ways, okay? You can go front row or the crappy seats way up and down.
Yeah.
You'll need an oxygen
I'll
mask.
go front row.
You want to go front row?
You want the front row.
Well, of course you do.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, we're going to spin the wheel and see whether you win the front row and the $100 gift card
Not
to
so quick,
Oregon
Johan.
Electric Station.
Are you a dad?
What was that?
Are you a father?
Am I dad? Absolutely.
Okay. Well, happy early Father's Day to you. And
Thank you.
And
Same to you. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, all the papas out there. All right. How about a 1, 2, 3 heave, and we'll start the wheel. By the way, are you watching on the stream?
No, I'm not.
Okay. How about a 1, 2, 3 spin? Give me 1, 2, 3
spin.
All right, here we go. It's about to come off, too.
Congratulations, you are the big
got it!
winner.
He got it!
Nice.
Yeah.
You got the
Heck
front
yeah.
row!
Congratulations.
Oh, I'm excited.
Front row tickets, $100 gift card to OES. So, way to go, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So, can we ask where you work, or do you want to keep that a secret?
I work at the post office.
All right.
Everybody's clocking in right now.
Right on. Well, you can just walk in there and go, I'm more special than you are.
I will.
Front row, James Taylor.
brag.
Can I ask you, who are you going to be taking with you?
Take my wife.
Ooh, probably a good answer.
That's not a bad answer.
Yeah.
That probably works.
All right, if you're scoring along at home, all right, we still have another pair of tickets that I will give away tomorrow.
Right.
But you won't be. Well, you can't win it. You've already won your front row, so don't get any ideas. Yeah. Hang on one sec. We need some info from you, but congratulations. All right, James Taylor front row spoken for. By the way, if you want to go before it sells out, because we're talking about a month away, go to MatthewKnightArena.com. Go to the website. You'll be able to secure tickets.
So, again, congratulations to Johan. A little bit ago, was chatting about the hack of the DNC computers and them actually getting this information, these policy papers and background information that the DNC had on Donald Trump. And they got it through essentially spear phishing, where they sent an email and somebody either clicked on the link or they opened the attachment, and then these hackers were able to get in there and be able to get this file that the DNC has been compiling, some 240 some odd pages on Donald Trump. And during the course of that conversation that we had with Sean Toomer, actually afterwards, I had commented, I said, it would be fun or maybe informative to talk to somebody that works IP or IT at a major corporation or maybe a government agency to talk about this people that go, well, I don't know, this looks suspicious, but it's from a guy I know, so okay, I'll open it. And then the next thing you know, you've got some boot sector virus, or it's taken your server down, or whatever, and that it would be interesting to talk to those people because it happens here at work all the time. And one of the engineers, I got to go down to X's office because they opened a attachment and X happened. But it would be, I thought, kind of fun where you've got a lot of people that work in the office, a lot, like hundreds, just to find out what that is like for an IT person. And we get this email that is sent from, and I'm quoting, a real person, is what it says. It says, I work for Lane County, and we constantly are attacked by hackers through our email system. We have a great firewall, but employees continually bite at the carrot when they are sent phishing emails. Our tech department is constantly sending county-wide warnings about these attempted attacks, but the Homer Simpson press any key response is too great. Enough said. Unanimous Trump supporter, love the show. Oh, don't. It's interesting, and and I always, it's like the rhetorical question about somebody calls and says they're trying to scam you, and some of them are so obvious, and I always ask, why? How is it that people? Well, there you go. Oh, that's probably not true that they're going to put $10 million in my account, but maybe it is.
You hate to miss out on opportunities.
Well, yeah, there's a reason why that Nigerian scam and all the different permutations of it have been going around for the last 20 years. There's a reason. I think I saw my first one, the first time I ever saw the Nigerian scam, I would think it was almost 20 years ago. I don't think it was quite. It was the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, that looks stinky. Right, some Nigerian prince
just finds you out of the blue.
Yeah,
that's what.
Right, and he's going to
gets me like, why would they pick me?
Right, why would the Nigerian prince decide that he's going to put the $20 million in my account? Oh, because I seem like a nice guy.
I've got the golden ticket.
Based on what? But no, people still fall for it. Anyway, coming up. Next on the Wake Up Call, we're going to talk to Stephen Healy. He is an author and just released a book about a trip, a kind of crazy trip. Anyway, we'll have that coming up next here on KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Worries about economic growth are hitting Wall Street. The Dow down 165 points, the Nasdaq down 47, and the S&P down 20. The morning after, the Fed chief signaled rising concern about the strength of the U.S. economy after policymakers announced they would not hike interest rates. There are fresh readings of two economic trends the Fed watches closely. First, inflation. The consumer price index for May shows a smaller than forecast increase of 0.2%. Factoring out food and fuel costs, the increase was still 0.2%. The other reading shows new unemployment applications increased by a more than predicted 13,000 last week to 277,000, still at a level economists say indicates the economy is creating more jobs than it's losing. As its takeover by larger Walgreens gets antitrust scrutiny, Rite Aid is reporting a disappointing first quarter. It's reporting a net loss after a profit in the same period a year ago. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Warmer weather is coming. You may be ready, but is your vehicle? Midlane Truck and Equipment Repair can perform a complete inspection of your cooling and air conditioning system to ensure you and your vehicle stay cool when it gets hot out. Offering bumper-to-bumper service and repair on trucks, RVs, autos, and trailers, including general maintenance, in-frame overhauls, welding, fabricating, liftgate, and reefer repair. Call Midlane Truck and Equipment Repair now to beat the heat.
Get set to save now at Mid-Valley Tractor, your local Kubota dealer. Take command of your lawn care needs with a new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower. Get commercial-grade performance and a full 4-year factory warranty at a price you can afford. Now during the Get Set to Save sales event, get a special introductory price of $38.99 and 0 down and 0% financing for 36 months. Now through June 30, 2016. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992 for details about cost and terms. Great prices, great products from people you can trust. Mid-Valley Tractor on Highway 99.
When you buy something at St. Vincent de Paul, you always save money. And when you donate something to St. Vincent de Paul, you save money too, because everything you donate is tax deductible. So save when you buy and save when you give at St. Vincent de Paul, where you can have some fun, save some money, and do something nice for your neighbors. St. Vincent de Paul, we're in the phone book.
This message is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul in association with Eugene area radio stations. Ears.
What is it about buying a mattress that leaves you feeling violated? Pushy salespeople, fake sales, the walk of shame out of the mattress store? Those days are over. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, co-founder of Helix Sleep, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to helixsleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to helixsleep.com/try now. That's helixsleep.com/try now.
This is Shaquille O'Neal. And this is Shaquille O'Neal.
And the Shaquettes.
Reminding you that anytime is a good time.
Good time.
For the cooling, drying, fresh scent of Gold Bond powder spray. Like after the gym.
Or a crowded elevator ride.
Or golf.
Or working with farm animals.
Or a hard day's work.
Like sportscasting.
You said it, ladies. Stay cool with Gold Bond powder spray.
Stay cool with Gold Bond.
This is Congressman Peter DeFazio.
It's great that you're listening to the Wake Up Call here on 1120 KPNW, and I always find the show a great way to get the day started. We'll take that, yeah, Bill?
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. So I'm just kind of curious. I'll throw this rhetorical question out there. Are you sitting there thinking to yourself, I think what I'd like to do here in the next few weeks is I'm just gonna start out here in Eugene, and I'm gonna go to Tierra del Fuego, and just the adventure that goes on along between there. Just kind of put together a trip. Now you may be thinking to yourself, well, first off, I don't know where Tierra del Fuego is. That's at like the furthermost southern tip of South America. But we're going to be talking right now to Steve Healy, who was in Los Angeles and thought, I think I might want to do that. And then he wrote a book about it. It's called The Wonder Trail, True Stories from Los Angeles to the End of the World. He's also the not only the author of this book, but the author of How I Became a Famous Novelist. No pretension there, Steve.
Yeah, just a bit.
Along with that, of course, you also have been a television writer, The Office, 30 Rock, Late Show with David Letterman, etc. First question first. Are you one of those guys that would go down to the library as a kid and find the oldest National Geographic that you could and go thumbing through it? Because I get the feeling maybe you were.
Yes, I was exactly one of those guys. I didn't even know that was a kind of guy, except for me. So I'm glad you've encountered others of this species. But yeah, that's totally the kind of guy I was. I was always curious about the world, interested in it. And yeah, when I was a kid, you had to go get the old National Geographic to check this out. Now you can probably just go on YouTube and see videos of pretty much anywhere in the world. But yeah, I was curious about the world, wanted to explore it as much as possible. And I had this opportunity. I had about 3 months off in between jobs. And I was like, okay, I'm going to leave Los Angeles and go south until I get to the bottom of the Western Hemisphere.
I guess if I was going to classify this book, I would call it an autobiographical, humor, historical, travelogue, geography book. Would that be a good...
That's perfect. I think you came up with the perfect description of it. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to categorize, but basically I was just collecting everything interesting or weird or wonderful that I came across and put it together in a book that hopefully has some history and geography and politics and economics, how this part of the world came to be the way it is, plus stories of adventures that I had, places I saw, people I met, stuff I ate, experiences that I had as I was traveling through Central and South America.
I was struck. I mean, the first thing was, as I was thumbing through it, it was like, oh my gosh, he brings up Catherwood and Stevens. I'm going to like this book. When I said history, I mean, you really do get into, in a light way, but you actually get into some of the more interesting history from essentially Mexico all the way down to the tip of South America.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if your listeners don't know, Catherwood and Stevens were these two guys who went down in about the 1840s and were exploring Central America before anybody really knew what was going on there. They were like sent down to be America's ambassadors to this part of the world, but they were half the time spent figuring out who was in charge. And along the way, they explored these Mayan ruins. They were some of the first people to really check out and illustrate and describe the Mayan ruins that were littering the jungles of Central America and be like, hey, there was a civilization here, and we don't really know who it was or what was going on, but there's something wonderful hidden in the jungles of Central America.
And along with that, of course, they had a series of, well, I don't know what you could call it. Well, yeah, misadventures. I mean, for nothing else, they were getting eaten alive by bugs.
Yeah, they were having a hard time of it. I mean, their chronicle of their travel is a lot of just like getting rained on, chasing away snakes, getting eaten to pieces by mosquitoes, hacking their way through the jungle. It was a rough go for them. I had it a little easier.
All right, so you mentioned there at the very beginning of that was trying to figure out that the Catherwood and Stevens trying to figure out who was in control. You actually ran into that a little bit yourself dealing with the Darien Gap, right?
Yeah, between Panama and Colombia, there's this area of lawless jungle called the Darien Gap where no government is really in control of it. There's some really primitive people that live there and some guerrilla bands and drug traffickers who kind of have control over this area. That seemed a little treacherous to me, so I solved that problem by sailing from Panama to Colombia through these sandblast islands that are off the coast there, which was a pretty awesome way to experience it.
But you did actually consider, though, making the trip through there by land. And I think it's kind of interesting to note why you decided that you probably should not do that.
Yeah, I talked to a guide who'd done some trips through there, and he basically was like, if you go in there, nobody is going to come in after you, and it's unlikely you're going to get through there in one piece. So I decided that discretion was the better part of valor on that, and I sailed around.
Well, when you say get through there in one piece, I mean, part of it was haven't a number of people just been kidnapped in that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are people who've just straight up disappeared, wandered in there and never been heard from again, or spent a couple months as the prisoners of whatever guerrilla band they ran into.
Talk a little bit about that whole issue, because you brought it up with, I mean, you've got drug runners and drug lords and drug producers, et cetera, et cetera. What it was like to be in that part of the world where, I mean, cocaine production, et cetera, is not just rampant, but pretty much just an accepted way of life.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, although most of the people in this part of the world are just going about their daily lives. They're not involved in any kind of drug gang or anything. Like, there is a lot of danger and strange stuff that happens in Central and South America, but you can also pass through it relatively unharmed. There are enormous cities full of people innovating and living their lives and doing whatever it is people like to do without producing cocaine or shooting each other up.
I'm kind of curious from a personal standpoint, from your personal standpoint. I mean, I've read a lot of different things, historical and current, about South America. And, one of the things that always comes to mind for me is that there seems to be, and I want you to comment on it to tell me if my perception is right, is I've always thought, there's this, it's almost like two different worlds, and that if really there is an unexplored place in the world, that probably it's in South America. And you have that part, and then you have this other sort of different world, which is, very, like if you start talking about some of the major cities, Mexico City, et cetera, which are very urbane and yet still kind of primitive at the same time. Am I way off base on that?
No, I think you're putting it very well. I mean, in South America, there's the Amazon jungle, which is just an enormous swath of land. It's something like 10 times the size of Texas, and even with the amount of deforestation that's gone on, there's just huge swaths of, exactly like you said, relatively unexplored jungle. And as you mentioned, there are these cities that are often sophisticated and urbane, have great restaurants, fancy hotels, everything we associate with a big city, but then through the outskirts of them, they might have these kind of improvised shanty towns and slums and developments that are nothing like what we see here in the United States.
The book is The Wonder Trail, True Stories from Los Angeles to the End of the World by Steve Healy. When you told your friends, the folks that you work with, your friends, family, et cetera, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this, and did they say, oh, you're going to fly down to Tierra del Fuego? I mean, and you told them, well, no, I'm going to, kind of drive, boat, car, bike, whatever. What was the initial response?
A lot of people assumed that I was going to get kidnapped and warned me that I was going to get kidnapped. Luckily, that didn't happen. You can travel in these parts of the world, I think, relatively safely, and most people are not looking to harm you or cause any problems for you. But there are all kinds of crazy, dangerous things that have happened in these parts of the world.
What was, in your mind, what sticks out to you as being one of those cultural moments when, your cultural programming hits another culture's programming and your brain just kind of locks up?
Yeah, well, I was down in the hills of southern Mexico in this Mayan town where people still speak a Mayan language, and they were having a feast day for one of their saints, and they were going to this. They'd covered the floor of their local church with pine needles, and people were speaking and giving offerings to these statues of Catholic saints who also had a lot in common with the ancient Mayan gods. Like there's kind of a blend of Catholic and indigenous tradition in these parts of the world. Down in Bolivia, there's a market in Bolivia where you can buy a dried llama fetus, which you're supposed to bury as part of a ritual for blessing a new house.
Yeah.
So that was definitely something you don't see at 7-Eleven.
Did you get one?
No.
Oh, you didn't get one and send it home or anything like that?
I thought they might be a little curious at customs if I tried to bring in a dried llama fetus, so I left those in Bolivia.
You should have at least tried, just for the sake of saying.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I'm going to go back and get you one. You send one to your studio.
Oh, look, Steve sent me the fetus. Thanks, Steve.
Oh, llama fetus.
Awesome. Well, that would have probably made a fairly interesting short chapter in the book of trying to get that through customs.
That's true.
The book is The Wonder Trail, True Stories from Los Angeles to the End of the World. It is an autobiographical, humor-historical travelogue geography book written by Steve Healy. The imprint is Dutton, but it's put out by Penguin. It's on sale right now. One of the things that I like about this is that the chapters, there are a lot of them, and they're short. So people with short attention spans that have ADHD like me, I look at it and go, oh, this is the perfect book.
It's a book for people who are used to reading on their phones.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can hop in and out as necessary.
Steve, it's a good read, and thanks for writing the book. Thanks for being on the show this morning to talk a little bit about it. And the last question is, where's your next trip?
Oh, good one. I don't know. I'd love to check out Africa, but it's a pretty daunting continent. It's enormous for one thing, so I'm not sure where to dive in there. But that might be next.
All right. Well, good luck on the trip. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. 752 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Chevrolet has...
Hi, Jerry, Shop Talk.
Hey, in your tool department, why does Jerry's carry so many brands of cordless tools?
Good question. Let's drill down.
Okay.
It's all about selection. We carry a huge range of cordless tools in both do-it-yourself and professional grade.
Cool.
So you can carry just what you need at guaranteed low prices.
Well, that hits the right chord with me.
Great.
I need a cordless hammer.
Okay. Well, we have cordless nails here, too.
I got plenty of those.
Tired of expensive movie theater popcorn or standing in line or having to drive home after watching the big game at your annoying uncle's house? It sounds like you need to have the folks from TV Specialty in your life. Nobody does TVs like TV Specialty. Think a home theater system is out of the question or out of the budget? Call TV Specialty and see how close you really are. 541-688-5061. It's quality backed by service at TV Specialty. 541-688-5061.
Lars Larson. Sun Automotive with locations in Eugene and Springfield reminds you, stay safe on the road, keep your car well maintained, and don't text and drive. Sun Automotive.
Chevrolet has more 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand. At Kendall Chevrolet, they have over 175 new Chevrolets, all priced with huge savings to get you on the road in a vehicle you can trust. Visit ChevroletofEugene.com or stop by today.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/quick. That's ZipRecruiter.com/quick. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/quick.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Coos Bay got FERC'd. FERC is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and it recently effectively killed a huge liquid natural gas export terminal that was to be located at Jordan Cove, failing to approve a connector pipeline to bring gas from a hub near Klamath Falls to the plant near Coos Bay. Without a pipeline to supply gas, the Jordan Cove terminal would be useless, so FERC didn't even bother to rule on the plant itself. The project would have been one of the biggest in Oregon history, bringing thousands of construction jobs for a few years and ultimately resulting in about 150 permanent positions in Coos Bay. Most of those would have been specialized jobs filled by newcomers, but they would have been a long-term boost to the economy nonetheless, as would the doubling of Coos County's assessed valuation and thus the property tax that could be collected. Here's the nugget. However, that was only one possible outcome, or sample path, as a statistician says. But it's not necessarily what would have happened, or even what was most likely. Jordan Cove started out not as an export terminal, but as one that would import liquid natural gas. 12 years later, the project is dead. But notwithstanding the disappointment in Coos Bay, it could have easily been worse. How and why? Soon. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Mostly cloudy with a low around 48. Northwest wind 5 to 8 miles per hour, becoming calm in the evening. Chance of precipitation is 50%. I'm Sarah Madison with your NBC 16 weather report.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock indexes losses are now about 1%. The Dow down 146 points, the Nasdaq down 53, and the S&P down 20 after Fed Chief Janet Yellen said the economic outlook and next week's vote in the UK that could result in Britain leaving the EU were factors in the decision to hold interest rates steady. Updates on jobs and consumer prices do little to contradict the Fed's view of the U.S. economy. First-time claims for unemployment benefits took a surprise jump last week, rising by 13,000 to 277,000, and inflation is barely there. Consumer prices rose just 0.2% in May, less than forecast. A regional manufacturing report is a little brighter. The Philadelphia Fed's update on business activity shows an unexpectedly strong increase. It follows a similarly strong reading this week from the New York Fed Bank. Oil is sinking as output in Canada recovers. Crude futures down more than 3%. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Exactly how bad does a client have to be before a company will say no to doing business with them? I'm Lars Larson with the Northwest Report's commentary in just a moment. Have you ever thought about all the money you spend at the pharmacy buying a shaver, and it's just a cheap piece of plastic? Harry's.com was started by two guys passionate about creating a better shaving experience. They bought a blade factory in Germany. They turn out the best blades, and the starter kit, $15, and it's delivered to your house, and delivery is free. Go to Harry's.com right now. Enter my code name Lars in the promo box, $5 off your first order. Enter my code name Lars for $5 off your first order. That's Harry's.com. Change the way you shave forever. There are some people I just won't do business with. You know I do radio ads, but I won't do business with pot shops and I won't do business with porno. But with big companies, maybe there's a looser standard. You see, Boeing just cut a deal this week to sell a whole bunch of very expensive airplanes to the country of Iran. Now, what is Iran? Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism. Iran has helped fund some of the efforts that killed American soldiers in Iraq. Iran is trying to get a nuclear bomb, and they have sworn to destroy the United States and the state of Israel. Now, do you think that's bad enough for Boeing to say, we just won't do business with someone like that? No, of course not. In this case, they will do business with the state of Iran. They're going to sell Boeing airplanes, and Iran will pay with some of the money they were given from the U.S. Treasury. For Northwest Reports, I'm Lars Larson.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
I'm not willing to accept the events of San Bernardino and Orlando as the new normal.
Republican Senator Richard Burr at a Senate hearing where the CIA director is giving an update on the fight against ISIS terrorists. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, John Brennan told lawmakers the only way to reduce or destroy ISIS is to take back its real estate in Iraq and Syria. He also confirmed reports that Twitter has recently stopped cooperating with the CIA when it comes to investigating terror threats.
We need to be able to leverage other capabilities in order to make sure that we have the insight we need to protect this country.
Brennan says ISIS remains a formidable foe, and he expects the terror group to launch more attacks as it steps up its campaign and tries to inspire more lone wolf attacks. Dave?
And Rachel, President Obama is en route to Orlando, where he'll meet with families of the 49 people massacred Sunday at a gay nightclub, as U.S. senators ask Facebook's CEO for help.
Omar Mateen took to Facebook in the midst of his shooting attack inside Pulse nightclub here, posting messages such as, "Real Muslims will never accept the filthy ways of the West," and "Now taste the Islamic State vengeance."
That's Fox's Evan Brown in Orlando. A member of British Parliament's been shot and stabbed after a meeting of constituents in West Yorkshire.
And there are lots of people in the area now trying to get to grips with what's happened here. We know that Joe Cox is in a critical condition.
Sky News' Nick Martin, a suspect, is in custody. Cox was attacked a week before a critical vote on whether Britain should leave the European Union. Both sides of that issue have suspended campaigning today. Found deep in the Mediterranean, one of the black boxes that could help solve the Egypt airplane crash mystery. The cockpit voice recorder has been recovered. The plane went down last month, killing all 66 people on board. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
You probably don't think about your neck much until it hurts. With stresses such as poor posture, tension, muscle strain, or injuries from accidents or sports, it's no wonder your neck is at risk for pain and injury. The physicians at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the cause of your neck problem through a physical exam and diagnostic tests. Then, they'll determine the best course of treatment for you through improved self-care, physical therapy and exercise, medication, or surgery.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Now, the U.S. keeps attacking ISIS in Iraq and Syria from the Mediterranean. And that's the sound from the USS Harry S. Truman, recorded by Fox's Simon Owen, who was just embedded on that ship.
This huge aircraft carrier nearing the end of an 8-month deployment.
We're 1,100 feet long, we're 250 feet wide, and we house and work 5,000 people.
The Truman's commanding officer, Captain Ryan Scholl, saying there's a lot to get right.
We have to have at least 5,000 showers a day, all the hot water and drinking water and things that you need to get through the laundry, the dry cleaning, all that kind of crazy stuff that you just take for granted.
We spent 2 days on board the Truman, watching as jet fighters took off time and again. The highest ranking officer on board told me progress is being made, that ISIS is beatable. But he says he can't say how long the operation might last. In Hania, Greece, Simon Owen, Fox News.
There is a sell-off on Wall Street again. The Dow is down a 6th day in a row. It's falling 105 points as the price of oil drops, now under $47 a barrel. They're using umbrellas instead of irons. At golf's U.S. Open, the second major tournament of the year, Fox's Jared Max has an update live.
Dave, all alone atop the leaderboard, Mother Nature. 1 hour ago, play was suspended at the 116th U.S. Open at Oakmont Country Club due to dangerous weather conditions and an approaching storm in western Pennsylvania. Light rain is falling. Forecast looks to improve in the 12 noon Eastern hour, but then there's a 70% chance of thunderstorms from 3 o'clock on. Half of the U.S. Open field teed off this morning. Defending champion Jordan Spieth parred 3 holes, birdied another, so he's 1 under par, tied for 6th. 2 shots off the lead of American Andrew Landry, 3 under par through 11 holes. Dave?
Jared, the NBA Finals resume tonight. The Golden State Warriors could win a 2nd straight NBA title if they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. They lead the series 3-2. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
KPNW, wake-up call, final hour, 8:05 today. Some scattered clouds, possibility of an isolated thunderstorm. Now, rain chance only 30%, 68 for the high. Cloudy and 48 overnight. Some clouds, but kind of a cloudy sunshine mix, and a high almost 70 tomorrow. And then good-looking weekend, so get ready for that. 60 even at 11:20 KPNW. So you sit there and you look at what people are watching on television. If you watch Lip Sync Battle, there's a show called Lip Sync Battle. It's Rachel Bloom versus Michael Shannon. She does Katy Perry's Teenage Dream if you want to score along at home. He does Here Comes Your Man by the Pixies. Seriously? We've hit an all-time low in creativity. Okay, so here now that we have...
The amazing thing is, though, that people actually watch it and are entertained by it. That's what amazes me. Like, really? You even watch that? There was a show, I can't remember what network it was on. It was one of those,
years ago or currently?
Oh, I don't know, probably within the last 5 years. It was one of those things, it was a late, Friday or Saturday night, nobody was there, and I just decided, all right, let's see what's on, and I started grazing. And I was somewhere way up in the channels somewhere. And it was a competition between people who were playing video games.
Oh, they still got that.
They do?
I saw a promo for it. It's like a regular series now.
I can't think of anything more boring than watching other people play video games. I mean, absolutely just It's like, really? Oh, God.
That's
What?
That's actually a really big deal now.
What, watching people play video games?
Oh, yeah.
And they have events where there's like thousands of people that go.
and there's for the people who are, it's not much different than any other quote unquote athletic spectator sport. And the people who are good at it are making
celebrities,
a lot of coin.
Big stars, you know who they are?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't, but in that world they do.
Okay, let me ask you.
No wonder.
By the way, Gary
we're going
Conley joining the soiree.
Sorry, I was about ready to give my old man rant.
Gary, are you a baseball fan?
I am, kind of marginally.
I know what you're going to ask. Go ahead.
Ichiro Suzuki. They're considering him now. He has broken Pete Rose's record for the most career hits. We're talking about 4,257 hits that he's got, which, don't get me wrong, is amazing. My question to you, should it be recognized because 1,278 of those were hit in Japan?
And so you're suggesting that
I'm asking you.
No, I mean,
Do you think that is? Should there be pause where you go, okay, there should be an asterisk? As Pete Rose, as he brought up, are they going to start adding his high school hits in there as well?
Who knows? I mean, to me, it doesn't really. I sit here shrugging, which is pretty tough on the radio to see, but it's, it's right in there with your lip sync thing as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I enjoy the game. I like it because it's one of the few things that has a different set of skills and that there's no clock on. And I like watching it on a big TV screen where I can look in the pitcher's eyes and I can look in the hitter's eyes
and see the seams of the ball
and see those kinds of things. And do I care? Do I think Pete Rose should have been thrown out according to the rules? Yeah. Do I care whether Ichiro's hits were in Japan or here? No, I don't care at all. What I care about is I enjoy the game and I enjoy the interplay of it.
Wow.
And maybe not so much anymore that after the Billy Bean Boys took it over.
Bill?
Well, for me, baseball, there's only one way to watch baseball, and that is at the ballpark.
At the game.
Yeah, at the ballpark. I find television to be a horrible way to enjoy. I mean, I'm not trying to start an argument here. For me, personally, I don't like watching it on television. I do like listening to it on the radio if you have a really good play-by-play guy.
Which are few and far between.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. They are few and far in between. But if you get somebody that's good at calling a baseball game...
Vin Scully.
Oh, yeah, Vin Scully. I mean, around here, and I know that there's going to be people that scoff at this, I don't care. Mike Parker calls a brilliant baseball game. And you can tell that he grew up listening to Vin Scully. He is...
Yeah, you're right.
He is so good doing baseball. I don't particularly like Parker's play-by-play for football or basketball, but baseball, the guy has it dialed in, and you can tell that's, as far as sports go, that's where his passion is.
And as far as the entertainment goes, you really got three different games, and we're talking about baseball here. One in the stadium, okay, one on television, and one on radio. Because I grew up listening to Vin Scully call the Dodgers and Harry Carey call the Cardinals, which goes back a long time. So three entirely different experiences.
Yeah.
Same thing with football and basketball. It's a different game if you're there than if you're watching it on TV. Variations may be on the same theme to a certain extent, but totally different.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I'll tell you what, hot dogs, beer, and nuts taste different at the... You can take the same hot dog and travel it across town.
Why is that?
And it's different at the baseball game.
Why is that?
It's contextual.
It's part of the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something like you have to have it. If you're at a baseball game, you have to have it. It's not like well, maybe I will. It's you have to have that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because otherwise, you're not enjoying a baseball.
The full experience.
Right. You have to have it.
Yeah, in fact, we didn't get a chance to go to a baseball game when we were down in Texas last week when I wasn't here. It was on the agenda and it didn't happen. But the thing was, what Deb said is, I want a hot dog. Exactly that. I mean, I want to go to the baseball game. I want to be there live, but I want a ballpark hot dog.
Just to wrap things up, Pete Rose says, if you say those hits in Japan are professional hits, then my hits in the minor leagues are professional hits too.
Yep.
And absolutely. Yeah.
Tempest in a teapot.
8:12, 12 after 8 o'clock, News Radio 1120, KPNW News coming up.
Some people avoid gluten because they have to. Others avoid it because they want to. At Burrito Amigos, they say either way, they can help deglutify your menu. For instance, they have taco salad. The best part is you can build it yourself with beans, your favorite meat, lettuce, tomatoes, cilantro, cheese, tasty guacamole, and sour cream on a bed of, yes, gluten-free corn tortilla chips. Keep in mind, Burrito Amigos large taco salad should have wheels and a 6-cylinder engine with a granny gear because it's so big. Now, if you're catering something for work, a school, or club, just order the taco salad and you don't have to worry about figuring out a gluten-free menu or even ask if anyone requires a gluten-free meal. One thing that should also be mentioned, Burrito Amigos taco salads taste great. If you're going meat-free, Burrito Amigos has a vegetarian menu that's more extensive than most sit-down restaurants. From tofu burritos to the bueno no-cheese burrito, Burrito Amigos adds more to their menu for people who need to leave things out of theirs. Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones in Eugene and Springfield.
I'm Jeremy. And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call, the one means no matter what the problem. From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7. Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season. Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
Hi, Mike here with some info on West Eugene. Did you know there are over 400 businesses on West 6th, 7th, and 11th? Yeah, 400. And lots of them are there to help you care for your furry friends. Whether your pet needs a bath, a trim, a treat, or a toy, or even that necessary operation, you'll find the right place for all your pet's needs on West 6th, 7th, and 11th in Eugene. Hear that? That's my buddy. He's saying it's time for a new toy. Go West, pet lovers. Go West.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, it is our lead story this morning. A fire clearing out the Eugene Mission on West 1st in Eugene this morning. According to the Eugene Springfield Fire Department, that fire quickly went to 2 alarms. When firefighters arrived, smoke was already billowing out of the 2-story building. 212 of Eugene's homeless population were in the structure at the time and evacuated from the dorms, which are located on the 2nd floor.
You know, it's the kitchen area and the dining area was actually damaged in the fire. Pretty much destroyed the whole kitchen area, the wash area, smoke and heat damage throughout the whole dining area, you know, melting tables.
Lance Leidy with the Eugene Springfield Fire Department says 4 occupants were treated for injuries.
Smoke inhalation and just people exiting, very minor injuries. We ended up taking 2 people to the hospital for evaluation. Again, very minor.
ESFD says that the building did have working fire alarms and emergency exit plans, which likely saved lives. Occupants were allowed to go back into the building after about 2 hours. Leidy says the main problem is going to be food preparation.
They have enough food, dry storage. We were able to keep the freezers and the refrigerators working. And so they will be serving breakfast is what they told us this morning. They're not sure what form, and it'll probably be later than their normal, 7 o'clock meal. They're also going to look for assistance from Red Cross for the next few days to help, prep the food and get the food out.
Damages estimated at about $300,000. The fire remains under investigation, although Leidy says it does not appear to have been purposefully sent. We got an email a little bit ago from Caitlin. Caitlin's with the Eugene Mission. We had Caitlin on the show yesterday morning. We were talking about the big food cart event that KPNW, along with the Eugene Mission, is doing this coming Saturday. Caitlin says things are pretty intense over here. If Bicoastal can help, that's our company, we really need food and water bottles donated. Food should be ready-made since we can't cook anything. Kitchen is completely done, as in scorched. So anyway, that's the information that we just got via email from Caitlin at the Eugene Mission. So if there's anything that you can do to help, what they need, apparently it sounds like, are just, kind of meals ready to eat in a civilian form. In other news, the Secretary of State Audits Division released its biennial financial condition review of Oregon counties. It highlighted 4 counties that may need further monitoring based on 10 financial, economic, and demographic indicators. The report found that the decline in federal forest revenue continues to be a major barrier to recovery of a number of counties. That includes Douglas County, our neighbor to the south, who, according to Jessica Hansen of Douglas County Douglas County Management, is facing a dire situation if new resources aren't developed.
We have to balance that budget in some way, and if those reserves are gone and we don't have revenues to support those programs, our government is going to change dramatically.
Now, the solutions at this point are, pretty much few and far in between. Federal dollars have all but dried up. The reserves soon will. The years of $50 million in federal assistance essentially are gone, and timber receipts are only going to result in about $3.4 million in revenue this year. That is not much money to run a county. It means that reserves, when they're finally gone, is going to cost major cuts, and it'll be in roads and county government, and likely law enforcement and jails.
And so that's what our commissioners are working on, is finding a management plan that will help support these county programs.
Unfortunately, protecting the spotted owl may very well make some communities in Oregon themselves extinct. Yesterday was the last day many rural Lane County residents could, set fire to their burn piles.
We closed the season for the summer due to high wildfire danger. The season will open up again probably October 1st. We are hoping that the opening will be on time, but sometimes it does get delayed due to ongoing wildfire.
Joe Niehaus with the Lane Regional Air Protection Agency says residents who burn during the closed season are subject to violations ranging from $50 to $2,500 or more. During burning season, backyard burns are typically allowed outside urban growth areas. Backyard burning is banned year-round in Eugene and in much of Springfield. Democrats in the Senate are taking advantage of the Orlando shootings for their own political purposes in an election year filibuster Wednesday over gun control. Brad Ford says Oregon Republican Ron Wyden, who's up for re-election, was one of those taking part.
Victims of the shooting are owed a response.
Wyden says people on the no-fly list should be prohibited from buying guns. He called for nationwide background checks on internet and gun show sales, and he said the ban on gun violence research needs to be lifted.
There's been a prohibition on doing that. Say that one to yourself. A prohibition on doing research into gun violence?
Wyden says it is time for Congress to take common sense steps to reduce gun violence. Brad Ford, KPNW.
With the first batch of gradual increases to Oregon's minimum wage launching in a couple of weeks, employers and workers got final word from the state Wednesday on how payroll checks are going to be handled from here on out. The final rules, released by Oregon's Bureau of Labor and Industries, clarify what businesses should pay employees who work in different parts of the state. Note they said clarify. You'll see the humor coming up shortly. So the minimum wage will go up July 1st under the new minimum wage law, and it'll be divvied up into 3 geographic regions, with each one with their own unique minimum wage and increases through 2022. So under the new rules, employees will earn the hourly wage in whichever of the 3 regions they spend more than half their time. For those with more transient schedules, their bosses can either pay the highest rate or break out their minimum wage earnings by hours worked in prospective regions. That shouldn't be hard. On July 1st, the current $9.25 minimum wage will go up 50 cents in Metro Portland, the region with the highest minimum, and also in the second region where smaller cities such as Eugene and Salem are situated. But rural areas, mostly in the eastern part of the state, will see a 25% increase. By 2022, Portland's minimum is going to be set at $14.75, smaller cities at $13.50, and rural areas at $12.50. What's not to like? And the state of Oregon is setting new standards to help control the use of painkillers that contain highly addictive opioids. Probably, if you heard the last story, those are going to be the folks that work in HR and business. Anyway, Brad Ford reports.
Oregon is adopting CDC guidelines, plus expanding efforts to control highly addictive opioid-based painkillers. Dr. Katrina Hedberg says they want doctors to control the amount they prescribe.
Not to be giving sort of a large quantity if a person comes in, for example, with a sprained ankle.
They also want patients to know about the dangers of becoming addicted. There are signs that progress is being made with fewer overdoses being reported.
That has started to decline, or at least level off and decline slightly, without seeing an increase in heroin.
The legislature recently approved a measure that allows pharmacists to prescribe naloxone as a rescue drug to be given to someone who has overdosed on opioid painkillers. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Big question in the NBA Finals. Can Golden State close out the series with the Cavaliers in Cleveland tonight, Game 6? W with Draymond Green, but without Andrew Bogut, who's done for the year with a knee issue. Game 7, if needed, could be and would be Sunday. Portland Trailblazers have started their season acquisition and release of personnel with their broadcast crew. Gone are the team referred to as Mike and Mike, play-by-play announcer Mike Barrett, color analyst Mike Rice, have been let go after 11 seasons together on the TV broadcasts. Radio play-by-play Brian Wheeler will remain, but his counterpart, Antonio Harvey, will not be returning. No real explanation given from the Blazer front office except they were looking to improve the tone and spark creativity. U.S. Open underway today, Oakmont Country Club, although we are about to hit about an hour-and-a-half weather delay at Oakmont. Former Oregon golfer Aaron Weiss was scheduled to tee off at 11:31 our time, but that is going to change as things get delayed. Aaron Landry still atop the leaderboard, 3 under. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle, where you can get a free nutrition consultation from a certified nutritionist. On Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time, 8:24.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Tomorrow, a chance of showers and possibly a thunderstorm after 11 a.m. Partly sunny with a high near 63. Calm wind becoming west 5 to 8 miles per hour in the afternoon. Chance of precipitation is 70%. I'm Sarah Madison with your NBC 16 weather report.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906.
For the all-new John Deere riding mowers, tractors, and side-by-sides, think Ramsey Weight.
Make treks to Ramsey Weight for John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers.
There's nothing like a John Deere Gator utility vehicle. From hardworking and trail-ready to the ultimate in work capability. Get into a Gator now at Ramsey Weight.
Don't just dream about it, wait for it.
Ramsey Weight.
Open Monday through Saturday. Franklin Boulevard, Glenwood. Online at RamseyWeight.com.
Is your multivitamin really working? If it's pill form, probably not. Max Muscle has a liquid multivitamin called VitaCell, providing 100% or more of your daily value of vitamins and minerals. And it tastes great. Buy one, get one free this month. Stop by, give it a try. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard.
A Budweiser, America, and Florida-Georgia line.
I still remember our first big show. Budweiser's in the air, and hearing the crowd sing our song.
That's when it really feels like America is in our hands.
And when I'm holding an ice cold Budweiser that says America on the front.
That too. Cheers.
This Bud's for you.
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tune in to Real Estate Today, weekdays at 5:30 p.m.
I'm Bob Nelson, real estate investment broker and exchange specialist. Cascade Exchange Services is my choice for completing tax-deferred exchanges. Megan McMahon, who's a CPA, is my choice of the person to handle my tax-deferred exchanges. It's a locally owned company. They do business on a nationwide basis, same-day document preparation, and she's always available for free and very excellent consultation. Contact Megan at Cascade Exchange Services.
Here's your chance to check out Eugene's finest food trucks, chow down on some of the most mouth-watering food in town, and support the Eugene mission all at the same time. Selco Community Credit Union presents the first annual Eugene Food Truck Fest on Saturday, June 18th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Valley River Center parking lot. Foodies, families, and fun seekers, bring your appetites and choose your favorite from dozens of Eugene's most innovative food trucks. While the DJ spins, your kids can jump and bounce in the kids zone. Free admission, June 18th, Valley River Center parking lot.
All right. If you're one of those people that found yourself upside down for one of a variety of reasons, maybe it was a mortgage, maybe it was medical bills, that's a big one. Maybe, you got hammered by credit cards. Well, it happens. And so you're working, you're trying to get through the stuff, you're trying to get your credit back online, you're trying to get things put back together again, and then your car breaks down, and then you realize, okay, the only way I'm going to get a car is if I can get some credit, but I can't get some credit because my credit's upside down. Well, at Guaranty Discount Chevrolet, they have the Good People with Bad Credit program, and within 48 hours, they can help you get a quality, safe, reliable vehicle, helping you get to work so that you can get stuff paid off. And in the meantime, you're also getting your credit repaired through the Good People with Bad Credit program at Guaranty Discount Chevrolet. So, like I said, they can get you on the road within 48 hours or less in a quality vehicle to get you where you need to go, whether it's a truck, an SUV that you need, or a van. Give them a call, 541-998-2333, 541-998-2333. It's the Good People with Bad Credit program from Guaranty Discount Chevy.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London, 1120 KPNW.
Joining us, as always, on a Thursday on the Wake Up Call, it is none other than Gary Connolly. Uncle Gary, you can call him. Actually, do you hear that a lot? Do people just walk up to you all the time and go, "Hey, Uncle Gary"? Does anybody do that other than me? Does anybody do that to you?
Just you.
Really? All right.
What about anybody refer to you as the president?
Does anybody do that?
Just you.
Oh.
So,
what do people usually call you?
Yeah, what do they
Mr. Conley?
I haven't even thought about that.
Gare?
Yeah, that works.
Gare.
Hey, you.
Gare. All right. So this morning, want to talk a little bit about Brexit. So Janet Yellen decides that she's not going to raise the interest rates. And one of the things that she said, well, there's a couple of things she said that were interesting. One, she said that the central bank has expected a slower path for future rate increases. Now, considering they've only raised it once since 2008, it doesn't, if you go by that benchmark, it's going to be a while before they raise the rates again, considering they just raised them, about within the last 6 months. So it's going to be a while. The second thing is that one of the main factors, or one of the big factors, was the possibility of Brexit, which is Britain saying adios to their particular weird kind of connection to the EU. So before we get any further into this, their part of the EU is different from, like, say, the way that Greece is connected to the EU, or Germany connected to the EU, or France, or most of the other countries, right?
Exactly.
All right. So what exactly is their agreement and their connection, other than by proximity, to the EU?
Well, they have a lot of what we would call free trade or economic agreements and laws that are very much entwined in the EU. They're also the second biggest economy in the EU and the second biggest exporter behind Germany. So They are, from an economic standpoint, a big part of it. I would say, from a 30,000-foot view, the biggest difference is that the Brits still have their own currency.
Right.
So they're not operating with the euro. They're still operating with the pound. And to a certain extent, that would make them leaving the European Union I don't want to say easier. Well, I mean, easier, and certainly the consequences might be a little bit different. So I think that's the main difference there, to me at least, is the currency. Now, all of those economic relationships and all of those agreements would have to be retooled, and that would take some time and undoubtedly would have some economic impact in terms of slowing things, which are basically slowing already, which is why Yellen and the Fed didn't raise interest rates. I mean, they missed their opportunity in the last half of 2013 and all of 2014 when the economy was stronger than it is now, both the U.S. economy and the world economy. That's when they should have been raising interest rates. And the reason is that the next time things come unglued and we have a recession, I don't know whether that's 3 months out or 6 months out or 36 months out, but it's out there somewhere.
Sure.
They won't have the ability to lower interest rates.
All right. So the reason, before we get into that, we've talked about a number of times on here. We've talked about the pigs, and like for instance Greece, which is on the teetering on insolvency. Well, it is insolvent. They just haven't called it that yet. How much on the hook are the Brits in helping to bail out, say, Greece or potentially Spain or et cetera?
Well, they're on the hook in the same way that a lot of the other European countries are, and that is that they've got to, they're supposed to have, buy a certain amount of the debt. They are, they contribute money to running the European Union.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that you've got two camps over there, leave and remain. Leave is get out of the European Union after 43 years. Remain is stay in. It's sort of going to be like leaping off a cliff if they leave, because you don't know exactly what the consequences are going to be. And if you remain, then it's kind of like being in molasses. So the main thing that the leave people are putting forth is the amount of money that they're spending. Mm-hmm. If you scrape all that off, part of the problem is the number of immigrants that they're supposed to take and the potential for threats to the national health care system, the ability to finance that, and to the pension system over there. So that's a bit of what I think is really behind it. And it's going to be important. The vote's on the 23rd, and if the Brits vote to leave, since we're so intertwined, not with the Brits, but with the EU and with Japan, the world economically is very much intertwined, as well as with things like NATO and the IMF and a lot of these. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be an earthquake kind of a dislocation with who knows what the consequences are really going to be somewhere down the road.
Well, when you say it's going to be an earthquake, I mean, is it going to be the kind of earthquake that could, throw us into a recession?
It could, or worse, maybe. It's kind of hard to tell what the real consequences of it will be down the road, because what you're going to have, I think, is a slower economy than in Europe. You're also going to have cover for people like the French. I mean, the Brit vote at this point, depending on whether you look at the betting sites or the polls, is about a coin flip. If you look at the polls in France, 61% of the people don't like the European Union. And
so this gives them a reason to bail out.
Yeah.
Hey, look, the Brits did it. Let's
Exactly.
us do it.
Yeah.
And the reason that the French don't like it, the same reason that a lot of the Brits don't?
Well, there's a difference between the people who are running the countries and the
people living in them.
And the people who are living in them. One quote is what Brexit is really about is, do hardworking, tax-paying citizens fundamentally trust or reject half a century of globalization, integration, and innovation? Have the promises the political and economic elite helped improve their daily lives, or is it time to rethink and redraw our political and economic systems from the ground up? I mean, does that sound like the same place that Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump came from to you?
Absolutely.
So, it's a worldwide kind of phenomenon. So, you have the French, you've got the Dutch, who in a poll by a Dutch newspaper, 9 out of 10 people think that they ought to have an up or down vote about leaving the EU in the same way that the Brits are. So it's not just the Brits, and then you've got problems with what does Scotland do? Do they immediately leave the United Kingdom and go back to the EU? What about Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
And so there are all kinds of implications to this. It's clear that the European Union is not working. It's not working politically, it's not working economically, and it's certainly not working for the man in the street in France, Britain, Greece, blah, 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 blah.
All right, what would it take to fix it? Or is it even fixable? That's probably the better question. Is it even fixable?
I don't think in its present form it is fixable.
So then what happens? Let's say what happens if, for instance, they vote not to exit? Is there going to be at least an acknowledgement that things do need to be fixed, that a change does need to be made, or is it going to be, they didn't leave, business as usual, let's go back to doing what we've been muddling through?
Likely the latter would be my guess. I mean, I don't know, but I think likely the latter, and so then you just have to wait for some other crisis that turns out differently before things fall apart over there.
All right. Is that our nugget, would you say?
Yeah, I think the nugget really is that what we just read about how the man in the street feels, and it's not much different than a lot of the way the guy in the street feels here. It's a big difference between the people running things and the people who are getting run over.
All right, so we also have our vocabulary word. Today's word is correlation. Correlation. Correlation.
All right, well, I'm going to read you...
What is correlation?
I'm going to read you a definition of correlation, and then I'm going to tell you what it really is, or why it means difference to you. Correlation is any broad class of statistical relationships involving dependence, though a common usage is most often refers to the extent to which two variables have a linear relationship with each other. How's that for you?
Okay.
All right, so what it means is that two things either are the degree to which they're dependent upon one another, and or how they're correlated. And the reason that makes a difference for you in an investment standpoint is that you actually want to have your portfolio or your holdings arranged in such a way that everything is not correlated. In other words, it doesn't move the same way at the same time. The scale is from 1 to -1. Okay, 1 would be things that are perfectly correlated, which means they move in the same direction in lockstep. -1 would mean they move 100% in the opposite direction. Okay?
Okay, that makes sense.
So
in that way, essentially, it's like saying you don't put all your eggs in the same basket. Even though, they may look disparate, they would be correlated the same way and move for the same reason.
That's exactly right. So it has to do with eggs in one basket, and the concept of diversification is what that's called from an investment standpoint. If you have all of your money in various stock market mutual funds, even if some of them are foreign stock market mutual funds, but let's say you've got some what they call large cap, big companies, medium-sized companies, small companies, micro companies, they're all in the stock market. You don't have diversification because that stuff all moves pretty much in lockstep. If you looked at two things that were negatively correlated, or at least have been over the last 5 years, it would be, let's say, biotech and gold.
Okay, that makes sense.
So those are, so that you can balance a portfolio that way. The problem with both of those assets is they have a lot of what's called volatility. The mining companies, the gold stocks and the biotech stocks, often can move 10% in one day. So the volatility is an opportunity, and we're in the process of developing something to help manage that, but you've got to figure out how to manage it. So correlation is basically, do things move together, or do they move a little bit together, or do they move a little bit opposite, or do they move a lot opposite? And it's important to know what the correlation is between the assets you've got, because you may not be diversified. You may have all your eggs in one basket when you think you don't.
Cool. Thanks, Gary.
That's all right.
8:42. We'll see Gary next Thursday here on the Wake Up Call.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. The Dow and S&P are now in their longest slump since August, falling for a sixth straight day. The Dow down 103 points, the Nasdaq down 46, and the S&P off 15. Analysts tell Bloomberg the stock market is worried about the Brexit vote next week. Polls show British voters do favor leaving the EU, and the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve are warning of economic consequences if they do. This fear is helping home buyers. Investors are seeking refuge in the bond market, and that's helping send the interest on a new 30-year mortgage down to a 3-year low. Freddie Mac says the average rate is now 3.54%, the record low 3.31%. Relatively cheap borrowing costs may be giving home builders a confidence boost. The National Association of Home Builders says its confidence index is at a 5-month high, led by the highest buyer traffic at model homes since November and the strongest 6-month sales outlook since October. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
There should be no confusion when purchasing medical or leisure products from any dispensary. So at Jamaica Joel's, we don't use deceptive marketing just to get you in the door. The prices we advertise are the prices you'll pay, guaranteed every time. We update our Leafly menu daily, so you'll never be let down when you come in for your favorite strain or needed medication. So don't settle for less than the best. Come experience Jamaica Joel's. On the corner of 13th and Willamette, above Big City Gaming, Jamaica Joel's. An embassy for your mind, a dispensary for the people.
Father's Day is coming up, and wouldn't it be great to give Dad a gift he'll appreciate all year long? Spring, summer, fall, and of course winter. I'm David McNeil, founder of WeatherTech. Dad's car, truck, or SUV can take a beating from the season's dirt, sand, mud, and just about anything tracked back to his vehicle, which can ruin the floor. And the best way to protect it is with WeatherTech floor liners. We design, engineer, and manufacture right here in America, using American raw materials, tooling and equipment, and of course, American workers. This Father's Day, order WeatherTech floor liners and give Dad a gift he can use all year round, so he'll never have to worry about spills or messes damaging his vehicle again. And when messes do happen, they easily rinse right off. To learn more about our full line of automotive accessories, go to WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. For the ultimate vehicle protection, choose WeatherTech, proudly made in America. And from all of us at WeatherTech, happy Father's Day.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a low around 48. Northwest wind 5 to 8 miles per hour, becoming calm in the evening. Chance of precipitation is 50%. I'm Sarah Madison with your NBC 16 weather report.
Okay, well, right now, they're having a sale, and it's at Sleep Train. It's the red, white, and blue sale. And what that means is you'll be able to get red, white, and blue mattresses. Isn't that what it means, Rob? Red, white, and blue mattresses?
No.
Oh. Pshaw. Anyway, it's going on right now. You're going to be able to save a bunch of dough. Excuse me.
Get choked up talking about it.
I did. It's like it stopped me. I was verklempt. You're going to save up to $300 on Sealy, Posturepedic, and Simmons Beauty Rest, or get 3 years interest-free on Sleep Train's exclusive new Temper HD models. And for new accounts, you can purchase APR is low. So get on in and see them. Find out how you're going to save a bunch of money at Sleep Train.
Check them out today in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem, and tell them you like this with a wake-up call like this, and they'll treat you real nice.
Holloway in London, your infomaniacs on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
847, Tracktown CEO Michael Riley joining us on the Wake Up Call to talk about the Tracktown Summer Series, a new concept of a meet, of an event that will even be televised. We'll be talking about that. Michael, welcome to the show. Great to have you back.
Good morning. Love the opportunity to be able to talk track and field in this Olympic year.
So, yeah, boy, so much stuff going on. Out of curiosity, what kinds of ratings do track and field bring the networks?
Well, right now, we just concluded the NCAA championships. They were broadcast with a record number of hours of coverage on ESPN. And the initial feedback that we've got from the overnights is really, really very, very encouraging. We even had a couple of performances make it into SportsCenter Top 10. So we feel really good about where track and field is going on television.
When the TV bigwigs, the producers, and everybody involved, when they come in getting ready to prepare for their big broadcast for the event, what kind of communication do you guys have with them as far as getting them up to date, up to speed? Everything that you have is their information. What kind of go-between is there?
Well, it's really a great partnership. We usually work with either NBC, which is obviously doing the Olympic trials and covering the Olympic Games this summer, and then the University of Oregon works with ESPN, and we'll be working with ESPN on the Tracktown Summer Series, and both of them, I think, are really forward-looking in terms of, what are the innovative ways to cover, a really cool sport like track and field.
Talking to Tracktown CEO Michael Riley. Now, as I see everything that's on your plate, I'm thinking, wouldn't this be better to have, introduce this when there's a void? For example, you got the NCAA championships, you got the Olympic trials coming up. I mean, how do you add one more event to the schedule?
Well, quite honestly, really our long-term goal is looking ahead to when this community will host the World Championships in 2021, and that may seem like a really far off because it's going to be a whole other Olympic Games, but quite honestly, in order to make that worldwide event be truly amazing, we've got to get going now, and really the idea behind the Tracktown Summer Series is that by the time we get to 2021, America's track and field athletes, which really represents the number one track and field team in the world, that those people will be household names and everybody will be here cheering them on to win a record number of medals in 2021.
All right, so let's talk about the summer series. What do we have in store? What do people have at their opportunity?
Well, we're going to host a meet at Hayward Field on July 29th, Friday, July 29th. It's going to be televised live on ESPN, but we're going to take a little bit different approach to this professional meet. Most professional meets are, really catering to the individual performances and putting together stellar entry lists and groups of athletes. One of the things that we've learned from this community is that track and field fans actually really also like a team competition, and so that's what's going to separate the Tracktown Summer Series really from, quite honestly, anything else going on in professional sports other than the championship meets. We're going to divide the athletes up onto 4 teams representing the cities of Portland, San Francisco, Philadelphia, and New York. So not only will they be trying to win the races or win the long jump, but they'll also be trying to score points for their team, and we think that's going to create a different interest in the sport of track and field.
So you have athletes from each of those communities eligible for a draft. Is that how it works?
No, actually, we're going to select, kind of like they do in most major sports. We'll select nationally. They'll just kind of represent those 4 cities because hopefully we'll be expanding this series in future years into those other 4 cities on the West and the East Coast. So really it's no different than saying you're representing Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4. we're just going to give them a city identification to hopefully get those communities rooting for those teams as well.
Can you think of a TV show or an event that this could be compared to?
Well, I think if you really look at probably the top three sports in the United States, whether it's football or basketball or baseball, there's a lot of interest in the draft of who's going to, the emerging stars and what teams are they going to go to. So we're actually going to draft the top American athletes and put them on these 4 teams. We're going to do that draft on June 25th. And then really it's going to be about keeping that live score up and going throughout the competition. We just saw great team battles at the NCAA championships. Every year the University of Oregon hosts the Pepsi Team Invitational, and it goes down right to the last event, it seems, every year. We think probably this meet's going to be very, very similar.
Now, are you going to, I guess, is the draft going to be a part of the show, or is that going to be like its own separate event?
It'll be its own separate event. It'll probably be carried out really just on social media, where we just kind of announce round after round which athletes have been selected, and then we'll have the live broadcast on ESPN on July 29th.
And that's when can people come down and watch? Is this something that is this like a spectator thing, or is it primarily for the TV audience?
For the draft, it'll be just kind of done on the internet on July 29th. We want everybody to come down to Hayward Field. We're even going to add an additional element of having a road race prior to the track and field meet. So in the early evening, we're going to have a 4-mile road race on the streets that surround Hayward Field. Everybody will get a chance to finish on the track at Hayward Field and then go right up in the stands and watch these amazing athletes for a 2-hour track meet.
And you get a tasty shirt too if you compete with or finish that, right?
Absolutely. You get your typical race shirt. Your shirt will actually identify you with one of those 4 teams. So you might be racing for Team Portland in a road race, and hopefully you'll be up in the stands cheering for Portland to win.
What kinds of? When we have the competition, when it comes down to the series, talk about the different events and the competition itself.
Well, I think one of the challenges in track and field is there's so many different disciplines between the sprints, the hurdles, the jumping events, the middle distance and distance events. Trying to get all of those events covered in an exciting 2-hour television show is a bit of a challenge, but I think if you look at the Prefontaine Classic, they do an excellent job of just selecting what are great events and keeping the pace really fast. So we'll have a couple of sprinting events, the 100, the 400. We'll have a couple of middle distance events, the 800 meters, the 1,500 meters. We'll have a hurdle race. We'll pick a horizontal jump. We'll pick a throwing event, the shot put, and we'll pick the high jump and the pole vault, just to keep the action really flowing along.
And who's going to be coaching / drafting for each of the teams?
We've got a couple of team owners that'll be conducting the draft. They're kind of anonymous team owners at this point, and then we're toying with the idea of a couple of honorary team captains to kind of provide a little bit of extra excitement.
And if people want to get information on the event or the run, tracktownteamchallenge.com is where they want to go, correct?
Absolutely.
Well, I don't think we talked about this. Prize money for the winning team. Is there any loot involved?
Yeah, I think, if the American athletes are going to become the stars that we want them to be, we really want to be pouring the resources back into benefiting the athletes. So between the prize money, which will be about a $225,000 prize money first, and then all the other benefits that we're providing them in terms of travel and accommodation and meals, we're talking a little bit about a little over $500,000 going directly to the athletes to support them, certainly in this year in their Olympic pursuits.
Tracktown CEO Michael Riley, what did we miss? Is there any glaring omission that we didn't cover?
Really, we just want everybody to come out. We'd love to have a couple thousand people out there in the road race, and then pack in the Hayward Field stands to see these amazing athletes. I think in an Olympic year, we get a little bit spoiled because so many of the top athletes come to Hayward Field so often this year, but this will really be the last competition before the Summer Olympic Games, so we're really inviting everybody to come out and support these athletes.
Is there any admission if people want to come check it out?
There will be an admission. We'll be putting those tickets on sale in a little bit.
Gotcha. All right. Hey, Michael, thank you for the information. It sounds like a fun event.
We appreciate the opportunity to talk track and field.
You got it. Michael Riley, the Tracktown CEO, with the wake-up call as we get ready to wrap things up.
Yeah, one thing I want to say, if you have a chance today and you can head down to the Mission, Eugene Mission had a big fire this morning. It destroyed their kitchen. They need bottled water, and they really need food that they can serve that's ready to be served since they can't cook anything. Their kitchen was destroyed. $300,000 worth of damage. 212 people is how many people are there now living there. It's pretty intense. So if you can donate bottled water or anything like that, drop it by the Mission. They could really use it.
And do you happen to have the address? I guess people know where
it's on West First.
First, okay. All right, yeah, help if you can. Bill's gone. We'll be there tomorrow. Our last pair of James Taylor tickets, 6:05. We'll be here bright and early. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Enjoy the sun if we get it. See you tomorrow.
Are you tired of being uncomfortable in your home? Pacific Air Comfort, your local Carrier factory authorized dealer, would like to help resolve your problems. Too hot or too cold? Their professional staff will analyze your heating and cooling system problems, listen to your concerns and requests, offering you solutions that will make you Pacific Air comfortable. Turn to Carrier trained professionals. Turn to the experts that will help you claim your eligible utility rebates and tax incentives. Pacific Air Comfort, quality system design, quality Carrier equipment, quality installation, and outstanding 24/7 service and repairs. Visit PacificAirComfort.com. That's PacificAirComfort.com. Or call 541-342-5300. That's 541-342-5300 to receive Pacific Air Comfort's award-winning service today.
It never rains when the wake-up call takes to the air. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
It's another KPNW Thirsty Thursday coming up on the 23rd at the First National Tap House at 51 West Broadway. I'm Bill Lennon, and I'm inviting you to come on down, enjoy some Widmer Brothers craft beers, and get ready to win prizes. We'll give them away every 15 minutes. We've got tickets to James Taylor, Weird Al, Counting Crows, Eugene Emeralds baseball, even Olympic Trials merchandise, and of course Bud and Widmer merchandise. It's at the First National Tap House coming up on the 23rd, Thirsty Thursday, from News Radio 1120 KPNW and Widmer Beer.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word trial to 303030, and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text TRIAL to 303030 and get started for free right now. Again, text TRIAL to 303030.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Paul Stevens. President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden both heading to Florida for a visit with survivors and a show of solidarity after last weekend's mass shooting in Orlando. More live now from the White House with Fox's John Decker.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest said the president, who will be joined by the vice president, will use this visit to make clear that the country stands with the people of Orlando and also stands with Orlando's LGBT community.
He's offering a message of condolence and comfort on behalf of the American people. And the president takes that responsibility quite seriously. This is a solemn responsibility.
The president has increasingly taken on this role of comforter-in-chief as mass shootings have brought him to communities like Newtown, Connecticut and San Bernardino, California. 49 people were killed in Orlando, making it the worst mass shooting in American history. Paul?
John, the coordinator for Chicago's upcoming Gay Pride Parade, saying organizers will hire dozens more off-duty police officers than they did last year in the wake of the weekend massacre in Florida. Testimony on Capitol Hill today on the growing threat of lone wolf terror attacks in the U.S. More from Washington with Fox's Rachel Sutherland.
Paul, CIA Director John Brennan told the Senate Intelligence Committee that progress has been made in the fight against ISIS, but he cautioned the group remains
formidable, resilient, and largely cohesive enemy.
and we anticipate that the group will adjust its strategy and tactics in an effort to regain momentum.
Brennan says he expects ISIS to rely more on guerrilla tactics, including high-profile attacks outside territory it holds, and that the only way to reduce or destroy the group is to take back its real estate in Iraq and Syria. Paul?
Rachel, a 52-year-old man under arrest after British Labour Party lawmaker Joe Cox was shot and seriously wounded earlier today. Groups on both sides of the referendum as to whether Britain should leave the EU have suspended their campaigns for the time being after that attack. And you're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
You don't have to be a retail giant or government agency to be the victim of a costly data breach. If you run a website and collect customer data, your small to mid-sized business is just as likely to be targeted by hackers. The Barracuda Web Application Firewall provides cost-effective, instant security against automated and targeted attacks, making this WAF a must-have for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda Web App Firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/WAF.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 800-98-STEEL. 800-98-STEEL. That's 800-987-8330.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
Well, Mother Nature now appears to be cooperating. The weather delay is over at Oakmont Country Club outside Pittsburgh. The U.S. Open has once again resumed. A rough first hole back, though, for Jordan Spieth. Before the delay, he was 1 under through 4 holes with a bogey on 5. He is now even par. Rory McIlroy currently 1 over through 6 holes. The leader right now, Andrew Landry, is 4 under par through 12 holes with a 2-stroke lead on Danny Lee and Lee Westwood. Phil Mickelson and world number 1 Jason Day were set to tee off just after 2 Eastern, but with the weather delay, that will likely be about an hour later. Last night on the Diamonds, Nationals walked off with a 5-4 win in 12 innings over the Cubs. They take 2 of 3 from Chicago. Red Sox beat the Orioles 6-4. They now share the AL East lead with Baltimore, and Kansas City won its 5th in a row. Royals down the Indians 9-4.
Here's your chance to check out Eugene's finest food trucks, chow down on some of the most mouth-watering food in town, and support the Eugene mission all at the same time. Selco Community Credit Union presents the first annual Eugene Food Truck Fest on Saturday, June 18th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Valley River Center parking lot. Foodies, families, and fun seekers, bring your appetites and choose your favorite from dozens of Eugene's most innovative food trucks. While the DJ spins, your kids can jump and bounce in the kids zone. Free admission, June 18th, Valley River Center parking lot.
And last but not least, the backyard.
Wow, is that new siding? How'd you fit that into the budget?
Well, actually, that's the old siding.
No way.
Yeah, a little sanding and some Rada Cover Coat exterior paint with a lifetime warranty made it look brand new.
You know, now you just need a trampoline.
Well, my birthday is next week.
Keep dreaming, buddy.
Trust the professionals at Rada Paint. Find the expert nearest you at radapaint.com.
Rada Paint. Finish right.
AM's fans, don't miss opening night, June 17th, featuring a giveaway of the Reverse the Curse t-shirts presented by Pepsi and a laser show after the game. Head to emeraldsbaseball.com where you can get your tickets for all the summer fun at PK Park. That's emeraldsbaseball.com for opening night, June 17th.
Words used in today's social networking go hand in hand with Umpqua ice cream.
I'm going to the table with this Umpqua ice cream. I'll follow you. LOL. You have ice cream all over your face. I want to see.
Enjoy strawberry cheesecake. Umpqua ice cream's flavor of the month.
Do a selfie. Look in your spoon. Hey, I'm upside down.
Umpqua ice cream, the original social network. Share the flavor at umpquadairy.com.
It's 9:06 and time for Rush. Rush Limbaugh on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Okay, stop and think of this. To Obama, to Hillary, to Democrats, to the American left, whenever a guy says that he's a woman, she's a woman. When a woman says, no, I present as a guy, the left says, there's a guy. See the two boobs? I said it's a guy. So if you're a woman and you want to be a man and you tell a Democrat you're a man, you're a man. If you're a man that wants to be a woman, you tell a Democrat you're a woman, you want to use the woman's bathroom when you're a man, they say, fine, have at it. Tell them you're a Muslim, they say, no, you have to be, you're inspired by Republicans. Men and women who want to present as opposites can tell Democrats that that's who they are, and there's no doubt whatsoever. Somebody comes up, I'm a Muslim, I don't like you, I don't like the fact you're an infidel, I'm going to blow up every institution of yours I can. I'm not sure that we're dealing with Muslims, the Democrats say. Isn't it amazing? Great to have you with us, folks, as the week marches on here at the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. Telephone numbers 800-282-2882 and the email address lrushmo@eibnet.com. Either way, I'll find out what you say. I do check the emails during the breaks, and if anything is inspiring and I print it out and use it, paraphrase it, I very seldom read them verbatim, but sometimes I do. You know, it's unreal. It's unreal. Every drive-by media report on the Orlando terror attacks still claims that nobody can figure out a motive, except for the fact that Republicans did it, or that religion is responsible, but not Islam. No, Christianity. Yes, Christians, whether they know it or not, threaten homosexuals, threaten Muslims. Heck, Christians threaten everybody. And that's why people are not themselves. Christians are to blame for every aberration taking place in this country. New York Times, Charles Blow is his name. Omar Mateen, American monster. It's America's fault. American monster. Omar Mateen. Trump had it right yesterday. He was born here, but his ideas are not from here. That was a good line. It's been glossed over by a lot of people. Yeah, this Sadiq Mateen, whatever his name, he was born here, but his ideas are not from here. Speaking of the New York Times, their editorial board still struggling here to find a motive, and they actually do blame the attack on Republicans. They blame the attack on Christians. And in the New York Times editorial, you will not find the words Muslim or Islam or the attacker. But think about it. Obama and Hillary and, of course, the New York Times and the rest of the drive-by media demand, the American left demand, that when a man self-identifies as a woman, that we accept him as a woman. And in fact, New York City will even fine businesses up to $250,000 if they don't accept someone's self-identification and call them the wrong pronoun. But here we have Omar Mateen, a radical Muslim registered Democrat, and everybody from Obama to Hillary to the New York Times flatly refuses to accept him at his word. You know why? He's obviously disturbed. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know why he was mad. He was mad, we understand that. And he was upset, yes, but he was upset at Republicans, and he was upset at Christians. And the fact that he's a Muslim and a registered Democrat, of course, irrelevant. These are the kinds of things that can literally drive you crazy and literally think there's no hope left for the country. I mean, this is the lengths, the bastardization of logic, the denial of reality that the left is willing to do in order to preserve themselves and their agenda is, I don't know how you attack it. You can spend all day, every day, for 28 years, like I have, attempting to inform people of the debauchery, the lying, the misrepresentation, the phoniness, examples like I have given today, and it seems to have little impact with people that haven't made up their minds about things, or they have low information or what have you. It is really a puzzling puzzling thing. The news today is that Omar Mateen did this attack because the U.S. is bombing his country, Afghanistan. Wait a minute, I thought he was an American. Wait a minute. He was born here, right? His parents weren't. His parents came here. I'm getting to the CIA, Sturdley. I can't do it all in the first 10 minutes. Just be patient. Sturdley thinks I'm blowing the lead here. I'm just kidding. Sturdley didn't say that. But look, the news today is the Mateen did this attack because the U.S. is bombing his country, Afghanistan. Afghanistan's not his country. At least that's what we're told. He was born here. Therefore, something had to radicalize him. It could not have been Islam. It had to be something in America. Yes, and that's where Christians and Republicans and conservatives come in. Well, let's just take this at its word, though. If Omar Siddiqui Mateen is angry and did this attack because the U.S. is bombing his country, who's ordering the bombing? Paul Ryan? Fox News? Talk radio? No, my friends. It's our esteemed President Barack Hussein O., who has ordered the continued bombing of Afghanistan. And yet not one person, not one media outlet would dare to blame Obama for Mateen's attack, even though Mateen said, I am ticked off. I was mad. They are bombing my country. Well, the people in the gay bar were not bombing Afghanistan. Obama was and is. But, of course, they're not going to blame Obama. They're too busy trying to blame the NRA, too busy trying to blame Christians, too busy trying to blame talk radio, Fox News, the usual suspects. The New York Times editorial board even published a second rant this morning, the NRA's complicity in terrorism. The guy, I'm telling you, this guy was in possession of a gun legally. Who was it? Not Homeland Security guy. Yeah. It was Jay Johnson, the Homeland Security guy. Jay Johnson, I guess he was on MSNBC this morning, and they asked him point blank, what could you have done to have denied this guy the use of a weapon? He couldn't think of it because every law that we have on the books, everything that was required, this guy passed. He passed every background check. Now, there's more to that, though, than you will believe. And if there's anything approaching on today's program, I kind of hate to use the word bombshell, but this is close. If you are wondering, okay, how does a guy named Omar Siddiqui Mateen, with his family history, and other things obviously clear, able to be learned about that, how does he pass a background check? Well, we have to thank the Obama administration for that. I have a series of stories here that are going to boggle your mind. The first is from the French news agency, the headline, Threats Against Muslims Must Stop After Orlando Attacks, according to U.S. authorities. Threats against Muslims must stop now. U.S. authorities on Wednesday warned that threats against Muslims would not be tolerated and possibly prosecuted after alleged incidents in the wake of the Orlando gay club massacre, which was carried out by a Muslim gunman. Assistant Special Agent Ron Hopper, FBI, told reporters civil rights violations are a priority here at the FBI. We will investigate reported incidents against individuals based upon any class, any protected class, to include race, religion, sexual orientation. So the focus of the United States government, the FBI right now, is trying to find people who might be threatening or saying negative things about Muslims, targeting them, finding them, and exploring ways to punish them. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Have you heard about the Obama counterterrorism strategy called Countering Violent Extremism? It's actually, that's what it's called, CVE. Have you heard of that? Well, let me tell you about it, because the Republican leadership in the House is preparing now to meet Obama's request for $40 million of additional funding for the Countering Violent Extremism program. The FBI is trying to investigate these terror threats, and you just heard that threats against Muslims must stop. And the FBI say, we're vigilant, we're looking out for this. Are you also looking out for threats against America by Muslims? Well, we presume so, but no, you would be wrong. We're not allowed to. That's what the CVE is. You're not going to believe this. The FBI is trying to investigate terrorist threats, but is hamstrung by this Countering Violent Extremism program. The name Countering Violent Extremism was carefully chosen in order to suggest that there is no particular ideology causing the threat. Countering violent extremism could require investigators to focus on extremist right-wing groups, for example, and in fact does. Countering violent extremism, carefully chosen in order to suggest that no particular ideology is causing the threat. Any kind of extremism, such as in right-wing groups that could lead to violence, will be investigated. The theory behind countering violent extremism, the theory of the strategy is that, number one, Muslim communities have uniformly rejected terrorism, so we don't need to investigate them. We don't need to, because they're a religion of peace. Remember now, you think it's a joke, but Obama and the Democrats, when they say terrorism has nothing to do with Islam, it's a bastardization, Islam is a religion of peace. All these people out there, ISIS, ISIL, claiming to be doing what they're doing for Islam, they are not Islamists. They are extremists. They are not. The acting belief, philosophy, policy of the United States government is Muslim communities have uniformly rejected terrorism, therefore they don't need to be monitored or investigated. Number two, instead of aggressively collecting intelligence about radical Islamic communities and suspects who could cause a threat, the FBI, are you sitting down? The FBI is required to partner with Muslim community leaders who are essentially members of the Muslim Brotherhood. The FBI, according to the Countering Violent Extremism Initiative, should partner with Muslim community leaders like the Muslim Brotherhood, who will serve as our eyes and ears to let us know if there's a problem. So the FBI cannot monitor, by virtue of this program, law, whatever, we cannot monitor Muslim communities. We are not supposed to. We are to rely on Muslim community leaders within those communities to tell the FBI if there's something we need to be worried about. Now, when you see this, all of this focus on Christians and all this focus on the NRA and all this focus on other extremist groups kind of makes sense. It doesn't make sense. But the fact that Mateen's a Muslim, no. He couldn't have been, because Islam's a religion of peace. They don't do this. That's Obama's story, and he's sticking with it. And since it's Obama's story, it's the story of the federal government. It's the story of our investigative agencies. The FBI is reportedly highly frustrated over this. They cannot, day in and day out, there are exceptions, obviously, but day in and day, they cannot investigate Muslim neighborhoods, communities, mosques. They have to rely on outreach to Muslim community leaders in those mosques or neighborhoods to tell them if there's something going on in there that they need to be worried about. And that's why it's called countering violent extremism, not countering violent Islamic terrorism, for example. Islamic and Muslim is specifically left out of the title. Now, this is insane, folks. Not only is it common sense less, it's insane. It's tying both hands behind our backs. And we see the result. You wonder how this guy gets a gun? How does this guy pass a background check? Hello, countering violent extremism. We're not allowed to find out. We cannot use anything. Okay, we've got a guy. We can find out what he's put on the internet. We can find out he's predisposed to violence. He's not happy with America. His father was a Islamic sympathizer. Can't use any of that. Can't use it because we're not allowed to hoover up that kind of information unless Muslim outreach partners inform us. So when the guy goes to get a gun, passes our background checks, and that's it. You wonder how? This is why things like Orlando happen. We're not allowed by virtue of Obama's legislation. Well, it is legislation because this is the icing on the cake. It's about to run out of money. I mean, the FBI is trying to investigate, but they are limited by these guidelines in countering violent extremism that do not allow them. Here's the bottom line, or the upshot of this. Countering violent extremism does not permit the FBI to factor radical beliefs when determining whether there is a criminal threat. We're not allowed to go there. We're not, call it a variation of profiling. Not allowed, but this is not profiling. This is hard, cold evidence. We are to ignore it. We're not allowed to use it because of countering violent extremism limitations on investigating Muslim communities. So why is Paul Ryan pushing to fund this program an additional $40 million in the next budget? I have to take a break here, but we're just getting started with this stuff.
The Rush Limbaugh radio program will continue.
Rush Limbaugh annoying the left coast to coast
on the EIB network.
My good friends, if you own land, you know it's a true blessing, a blessing that comes with a great responsibility. And that's something my good friends at Mahindra Tractors understand. So Mahindra wants to help you be the best steward of the land you care for with workhorse tractors built to help you work smarter, not harder. Imagine how much faster you'll finish projects with a Mahindra tractor that can push more, that can pull more, and lift more than the other guys. And every single Mahindra tractor is backed by a 5-year powertrain warranty. Mahindra also wants to help take a load off your budget by giving you zero down, zero payments, zero interest till 2017. So I invite you to learn more about the world's #1 selling tractor, Mahindra, at MahindraUSA.com.
Take advantage of rock-bottom prices and test drive a Mahindra today at All Seasons Equipment in Eugene, or visit allseasonsequipment.net. That's allseasonsequipment.net.
NMLS 182334, regulated by the Division of Real Estate, based on a conforming 15-year fixed rate, $200,000, 80% LTV, 740 FICO, owner occupied.
Mortgage rates have dipped yet again. And if you've not refinanced in the last 18 months, American Financing may help you stop throwing away money every month. Rates today are at historic lows, which we know can go away, so don't miss this opportunity. Maybe you want to pay off high-interest debt or shave years off your loan, saving you thousands of dollars in interest. American Financing wants to help Rush Limbaugh fans get that done. American Financing was founded on a simple principle: help you save money. That's why our mortgage consultants are salary-based and not paid on commission. Right now, we're offering a 15-year FHA loan at 2.75%. Yep, 2.75%. But this rate is bound to end. It only takes 10 minutes to pre-qualify, and you could close in as fast as 10 days. Save money today by calling 888-994-7066. That's 888-994-7066. AmericanFinancing.net.
Sherman Brothers Trucking is looking for an experienced lowboy driver to drive regionally. Great benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and paid vacation. They're also looking for mechanics at their Harrisburg operation. Sherman Brothers has been family-owned since 1969 and offers a great work environment. Sherman Brothers prides themselves on the quality of their employees and the service the company provides. Excellent training and quality management will help you reach your goals. Check out ShermanTrucking.com for more details or call 800-457-1459 today. Sherman Brothers Trucking.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're a guy over 40 and you want to stay on top of your game, try a sample bottle of GNC's top-selling, award-winning Nugenix. Listen, if you're experiencing lower sex drive, general sluggishness, and decreased performance, Nugenix is a powerful man-boosting formula. For 2013, it won GNC's Innovative Product of the Year and was also named GNC's #1 selling men's vitality product. Get a complimentary bottle now by texting BOOST to 99000. Nugenix uses a clinically researched key ingredient to invigorate a man's body and increase his libido. Enjoy more passion, higher sex drive, improved performance. Be more the man you want to be in the gym and in the bedroom. You want to stay on top of your game, don't you? Then try top-selling, award-winning Nugenix and feel like the best man you can be. Nugenix is available at GNC and Vitamin Shop, but you can only get your complimentary bottle by texting BOOST to 99000. Again, text BOOST to 99000.
The Wake Up Call Mattress Mania Team Challenge is right around the corner. Friday, July 15th at Springfield Golf Club. Shotgun start 8 a.m. Tons of fun and great prizes, like the Oak Grove Guns $1 Million shot, a 50-foot putt for $5,000 sponsored by Cuthbert Amphitheater, and a bushel of cash hole-in-one brought to you by Dietering Orchards. Of course, there's KP Long Drive, Straight Drive for men and women. Register now at KPNW.com. $99 gets you golf and lunch in our two-person scramble July 15th. It's the Wake Up Call Mattress Mania Team Challenge. Register today.
You're listening to Rush Limbaugh Now. Tonight at 8, it's Alex Jones. Only on 1120 KPNW.
Look, there's much more on this CVE and related items. I have a short amount of time left in this break, so I'm going to wait until the segment following the next break commences to get into more detail on it. And you can continue to digest it. I mean, it's inexplicable. It's in utter defiance of common sense. It's so outrageous, I'm sure many people don't believe it. Rush, that can't be true. You're either having fun with this or you're just wrong. It can't be true. Folks, it's true, and there's more. It's even worse than what you've heard so far. The practical application of CVE and its implications just have some more earth-shattering details to share with you. I also I note here that some Trump supporters are getting nervous. There are two polls out. That Bloomberg poll that we talked about that has Trump down by 11 to Hillary. There's another poll, it's a CBS poll, that shows only 25% of Americans agree with Trump's policies and statements after the Orlando massacre. 51% disagree with what Trump said. And this has some Trump supporters really getting nervous now, sounding like they may be close to throwing Trump overboard, but not the movement. They think what Trump stands for is winning, but that Trump may be on the verge of blowing it. And if you think I'm making that up, stand by. I have the headline here and the details. It's all coming up when we get back.
From the KPNW News Center, here's what's going on. A fire cleared out the Eugene Mission on 1st this morning. 212 people were evacuated, 4 treated for minor injuries. 2 hours later, occupants were allowed back in the building. The fire was in the kitchen. It was badly burned, sustaining about $300,000 in damages. The Oregon Medical Association is worried that edible marijuana products are too attractive to kids. Dr. Robert Dannenhofer says in most cases, kids can easily open the packages.
We don't think that those provide nearly the level of protection that kids need.
They're also recommending to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission they reduce the amount of THC per serving from 15 milligrams to 5 and that the products be packaged in single-serving sizes. The first of several gradual increases to Oregon's minimum wage set to begin in 2 weeks. On July 1st, the state will be broken into 3 geographic regions with their own minimum wages. Employees will earn the hourly wage in whichever of the 3 regions they spend more than half their time. For those with more transient schedules, their bosses can either pay the highest rate or break out their minimum earnings by hours worked in prospective regions. Bill London, KPNW.
My name is Steve, and I drive Kindle. I started working as a teenager and spent almost 50 years trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. Turns out, it's retired. These days, I spend a lot more time with a fly rod, golf clubs, and my grandkids. When it was time for a new vehicle, I went to Kindle Chevrolet. I needed something that could keep up with all my projects around the house and could haul the trailer for all those camping trips with my grandkids. Kendall Chevy made it easy. Now, I love my new Silverado, but what I love even more is seeing one of my grandkids excitedly reeling in a fish. If you want advice on fishing, I have plenty. And car shopping? Just go to Kendall.
Right now at Kendall Chevy, find over $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2016 Silverado 1500 LT Crew Cab with four-wheel drive. Kendall. Let's start something great.
Stock number C12549. All financing on approved credit. Price does not include title, registration, tax, or $115 admin fee. Subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Offer expires 7/4/16.
If you currently use a CPAP system, I've got an important question for you.